But yeah, I'm not too stressed out about it at all.
No, I think what I was talking to, even like I was talking to Aaron last night too, just the type of event that it was.
Mm-hmm.
We expected people to be engaged, but also you got to think about this is an album release party for 2 new albums. They were there listening.
Yeah.
They wanted to listen.
Yeah.
When you looked out in the crowd, you saw people not dancing and moving and engaging, but 95% of the people were like this.
Mm-hmm.
And just watching. They
Yeah.
were fucking stuck through the whole show. It wasn't just through our set, through R.U.D.E, through City Hippie. They were all right here on their phones. You know what I mean? And when they took their phones down, that's when you saw that little bit of movement and engagement and people moving around. But other than that, they were stuck in their seat watching. You know what I mean? That's what I noticed.
And I'm not gonna hold you. It's not like our music is like a super dancey, clubby kind of type
it's
of
not.
music anyway. So you like what we had a discussion over at Mazati's over at the hip hop show that was there that night.
Mm-hmm.
He told me like, yeah, you heard the project, and it was like something for connoisseurs to really understand.
Mm-hmm.
And that really that stuck to me. I'm like, damn, because like for a while I'm like, all right, what can I do to make our music or our lyrics or our delivery, the cadence, whatever it is, more digestible, packageable, sellable. And it's just like, and who I'm trying to sell this to.
Mm-hmm.
And for the longest time with Entitled and Ego, like Ego and Entitled, it's like, kind of work in conjunction. You know what I mean? It's like an EP after the album. It's like the songs that could have made the cut into the album but didn't make it, but so we're just gonna release it as an EP.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, all right, so I'm listening to this and it's like, you're right, this is something a connoisseur will love.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know what I mean? And I'm not mad at that. And I do love the respect and the appeal to the connoisseurs, but I am trying to diversify my bonds, nigga, as the Gizzo, the RZA said in Dave Chappelle show. We gotta diversify. But so far, but like just the whole album release party and thinking about the music and the set list and how it was just like a sonic journey. Like, yeah, we turned it up towards the end. We got it off on a good bang. The middle was like a cool little segue. So it's just like, all right, cool. This is something that connoisseur would love, because if you know the craft of showmanship, performances, and and musicianship, Ego and Entitled is 2 great projects.
Mm-hmm.
But to your average consumer,
Way over here.
what
You're gonna
the
miss it.
fuck is happening?
That being said too, that makes me think of something that I think it may have been Yanni or even Chemistry, like a few years ago, when they listened to Entitled, they were talking to us and they're like, you make headphone music. Like, you gotta sit down and listen to this shit. You know what I mean? It's not, and that's what we've been trying to bridge that gap of, all right, how do we incorporate our brand, our style, our art form, our poetry into a, digestible, consumer-based sound.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if you don't really sit down and listen to it, it's going over your head.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
And that I agree. I would say I agree with that to a point, but then there's also like, I think y'all did have some variety. You know what I'm saying? Like Chapo. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, those were those ones where, like, all right, these are the ones we got to use to bridge that gap. You know what I mean? Still keep it.
I feel like Chapo and Vibe off of Ego, and to some certain degree Cusco's, were like the 3 easily digestible tracks that that you can really pitch out and market to. And it's just like, and those are my 3 favorite songs off that little track. I'm like, ooh. So just again, like, how to bridge that gap and try to enhance it and just improve it and make it better. That's like where I'm at right now. And just trying to like make more music like that for the next project. Like give y'all a 12 or a 9 to 12 easily digestible project that you can just listen to over and over again, that you can dance to over and over again. Mm-hmm. It's like, we're gonna go that route or do like an R&B smooth shit, you know what I mean? But again, something that you can listen to over and over again, and something that's super digestible, do a combination of both. It's ideally what I'm thinking. But like the point is to make it more digestible to the average consumers because, again, we're mad scientists with the shit, you know what I mean? And I'm a rap culture addict, you know what I mean? That shit, you know, it's in my veins. So I do have a deeper understanding of the craft that is hip hop than your average consumer. That's why I'm an artist. So, you know, let me just like get out of my artist shoes and get into my consumer shoes. And I'm like, all right, what's something like I'm just trying to have a good time and a drink in my hand, trying to find a little shoulder to dance on. What do I want to listen to? What do I as an artist need to make or, you know, get in that headspace? It's going to be a challenge, you know what I mean? Because again, when you're spending so many years just trying to sharpen your blade and perfect your craft, you lose sight of the connection to people. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at in this stage in my career, is just trying to find a way to connect more to the audience and to the mass and to the people, and, you know, get in tune with the emotion side. If you know me in person in real life, me and emotions really, that's not my style. You know what I mean? That's not my style.
You hold your cards close.
I hold my cards closed. My walls are all the way up, and I think. I think through everything. So,
Hey, that's some Leo shit. That's what it is. I know you're birthday twin. We know.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just like I'm a thinker. Let's just focus on the facts of the situation rather than the feels of the situation. And, you know, man, like, and what can we do to like clean this up and move the fuck on from it? But, you know, like, again, I'm losing sight of, like, it's the emotions that keep the human nature evolving. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people see emotions as a hindrance, and I did for a long time. And I'm not now trying to get to like the idea. It's like, all right, man, maybe this serves a purpose. Now I have to figure it out. So I can't help but to lean back to the whole thinking through, like, all right, let me figure this out. You know what I mean? So it's
that's growth, though. I mean, you know, at least you're growth minded. You definitely, people know that about you.
Yeah.
To be real about it, though, fellas, you know, I think it's interesting because what you guys are fighting against, because you guys are, you know, releasing dope music, you know what I'm saying? What you guys are fighting against being connoisseurs of sound is this social media / short form video world where it's like you get 30 seconds. Yeah. And then they want to just move on. So if you're talking about any kind of concept that's outside of 30 seconds, it's going in that direction, and that's a bad thing. You know, I feel, you know what I'm saying? As somebody who knows the power of the music and what can be done through the music, you know what I'm saying?
It's microwavable. I think they, like, you know what I mean, it's like, you know, it's secondhand. Like, I don't like the whole 30-second. I don't like the fact that people's attention span are shortening up as time goes on, and technology is not making anything any better at all. But it's just like, you know, but then there'd be cases where it'd be on the contrary, like over the pandemic, right? Zack Snyder, or whatever, the guy who dropped the Justice League, dropped a 4-hour movie, which is unheard of, especially for a superhero movie, right? But people actually sat through there and watched the entire thing. So I'm like, all right, so you got like, you know, like things and scenarios and cases like that where it's a lengthy product and people will still invest into it because it still kept on being captivating and everything. So I feel like you got to hit them in that first 30 seconds to be like, okay, now I want to see what's a little bit longer, what's a little bit more. I think what we've been doing is like warming up that 30 seconds, like, all right, we're going to get there. We're going to get there. And 30 seconds there, it's like, oh, we're still climbing. We're going to wait till 45 seconds to hit you. So we need to shave that 45 into like a 15, boom. And then the rest of that 15 is like, all right, now we got you. Now we got your ass.
Yep.
Now we got you hooked. It's a thought.
It's crazy that artists are having to even like look at this from this perspective and do it. It really is, and it's like if you don't though, then on a certain kind of level, literally on the algorithm level, you fall behind. You know, literally. So
you
it's
literally
like
fall off, disappear. You know, get lost in the abyss of the fucking online media. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy if you don't keep up with that trend. Yeah, it's wild. It's hard to. I come from a background of DJing. Like, you know, I grew up, like I was telling you just a little while ago, I grew up DJing 14, 15, 16, 17, all the way up until I started producing music. the emotional response is always what I've been working for. You know what I mean? I knew that as a DJ, that's what I had the control over, is people's emotions. Standing up on stage, I could throw a song on to make you feel like you're back in middle school again. I could throw a song on to make you fucking slow dance. You know what I mean? I knew that emotional response. Now where I'm at with producing and writing the music is trying to translate that from a different perspective. You know what I mean? Is make people understand that that's what we're doing with music, is we're trying to trigger your emotions. So when we call ourselves rude music, it's not because, you know, we may be just rude people in general. It's because when you hear that, it's automatically like, well, what makes you so rude? That's an emotional response. You know what I mean? Visceral, emotional. You hear the word rude, it's like, all right, well, what is it about you that makes it rude? You know what I mean? It makes people want to listen up or pay attention all of a sudden. But yeah, using that first 30 seconds to try to capture those emotions and define those emotions for people, that's the hardest part. And that's, I think, where I'm starting to learn I got to separate the responsibility, I guess, of capturing their attention. I think where we got to draw the line is if we get that response, our job is done. How you respond, that's not our responsibility. You understand what I'm saying? You know, I could say something in a very specific way, and if I get a response from you, that's where I draw the line. How you respond, that's not my responsibility. To continue to try to coddle to your emotions, because you know what I mean? I think that's where we're trying to extend ourselves a little too much, with especially with like the dancey, vibey music, is, you know, getting people's attention and keeping their attention. It's not my responsibility to keep your attention. It's my responsibility to get your attention. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's where I'm like, we gotta let that piece go. If we got your attention, we did our job.
Okay.
If we kept your attention, then that's your decision. As a listener, as a consumer, as a connoisseur, if you want to sit down and listen to the album through and through, that's on you. But if you initially hear something, you like it, or you don't like it, we did our job. You know what I mean? It's not on us to continue to like, oh, you know, you got to go back and listen longer or listen more, or you didn't hear that part. You know what I'm saying? That's I think where we kind of got to start to separate, is be comfortable with our art, be comfortable and confident with, we know what we're getting that response. We know we're getting that emotional response. How that response goes for them, not our responsibility. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's the hardest part, to separate yourself from your art like that, is because you want people to understand it how you made it. You know what I mean? I want you to hear it how I wrote it. That doesn't mean you're going to. That's not, you know what I mean? I can't control that.
And just to interject real quickly, and I'm just an overly ambitious ass nigga. Like, I'm just overly ambitious. Like, okay, not only I want to get your attention, I want that motherfucking chokehold that it's like, it's just undeniable. Like, you cannot turn away. Like, not even you fucking want to. So that's been like coincidentally, this is what every project that I've done has taught me something about it. You know what I mean? Like, me wanting to have their attention in the chokehold, that's purely ego driven. That was such an ego driven thing of me to do. So like, yeah, I have to let that go. You know what I mean? Because of the fact that, you know what I mean, like, the chokehold is such a forceful thing. I want to be just like, this is undeniable. You don't need to have me in the chokehold. Like, I'm just here. And I feel like just that doing that whole nonchalant route, like, oh, I got your attention. It's like, now I don't want it. Like a cat. You know what I mean? Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like a fucking cat. Like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, now that you got to me, I don't give a fuck about your attention anymore. I'm on to doing this and the other thing. You're just like, your emotions are played with, like, I thought you wanted me to love you. Now you don't want to be loved? What? You're so finicky. But that's why people fucking love cats. You know what I mean? So it's just that fucking, well, let's keep it going. That cat and mouse. You know what I mean? That fucking thing going on. It's that back and forth. That, you know, ring around the rosy, circle around, chasing each other. So, like, that's where I'm at right now, to kind of, like, coincide with his point of view.
Yeah, no, it makes sense, though, too. I really agree with you, because I think that's, at least for me, I'm looking for music, not all the time, but I'm looking for music that is going to have some kind of, like, emotional, that's going to create an emotional response within myself, you know what I'm saying? Like, once I feel that, then I'm going to be, like, you know, interested in listening more.
Absolutely.
You know, if I don't feel that, then
skip. Right?
You know. So you're exactly right. That's really what you're going for, is creating that emotional response.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I think, like I said, I think we've done that. I think we've done that with the last 2 projects. And especially how we've, you know, approached the projects. Like Asaad just said, you know, some of the stuff that we've addressed just within ourselves or with our music, and they're all in the titles of the songs. They're all in the titles of the albums. Feeling entitled, jumping on stage, feeling entitled to that attention. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's what we're coming from, is we really got to approach this from a fucking perspective where we got to step back and look at this. You know what I mean? And like, just like the ego, you know, these ego-driven actions, that's why we titled this project Ego. It's not because we have this big-ass ego. It's because that's what we're looking at. That's what we want y'all to look at when you listen to it. It's not, don't look at us. It's not about being rude and our big-ass ego. I want you to listen to the songs and listen to your own ego. Really respond and take what we're saying to heart, because we're not just talking about us. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, oh, definitely. So, no, I've listened to the album a couple of times, and you can definitely get that when you listen to the album, without a doubt, you know?
Yeah. And that's how that's how I like to approach the shit anyways, is when we're putting these projects together, I want it to be a whole package deal, you know what I mean? There's so many artists out there, especially these days, that are, it's all content driven. You know, they're just stacking the deck, and we've talked about that. And we need more content. We do.
We definitely do. We don't want to oversaturate.
But I'm not trying to throw a song a week out and just to do that, just to let people know, oh, I'm a hip hop artist. I can do a fucking song a week.
Right.
The hell with that. Like, if I could put out a song a year, Jay Electronica, every time he drops something, it's fucking gold, because he takes his time with it and he knows what he's doing with it. It's not just to chase that response, is to really hone in on what he's trying to get you to listen to.
And I feel like there's like a gray area, a little middle area we can work with. Like, we don't need to do shit, drop a song every week, but we don't need to take a whole year to drop one
that's
song.
What I'm saying.
So just like
bridge the gap.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, you hear a track from us once every 2 or 3 months. That's beautiful right there. Yeah. It's like, oh, it's one song a season. You know what I mean? And then we would drop an album the following year. So it's like, oh, here's 12 tracks. Okay, here's a summer track, here's a fall track, here's a winter track, here's a spring track. Wait a year, here's an album. You know what I mean? So it's just that game. Like I feel like I said this the last episode that I was on here before. It's just like, you know, the oversaturation's a fucking killer. And that's what's pretty much, I feel like people are when it comes to not just hip hop in general, but just like even local hip hop. You know what I mean? Just it could be oversaturated as well. It's like, oh, okay, these guys are on again. They're doing this again. They're doing at this show, at this venue again. And just because they're trying to, like, again, promote their music and do their product, that's cool. But like, again, you can venture out and just, you know, expand your market, you know what I mean? Like,
or even just differentiate, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, for instance, like a show, just a random show I'm thinking of last year, something that was just memorable for me, you know what I'm saying? Flo J. Simpson was at the ATL, and he did it was the Afro Man show, like January of last year and shit. And Flo J was with Rye Stone, the homeboy, the sax man. That's, you know, he'll get off the sax and start crooning and shit. And that performance, that was out of the whole year last year, that one performance by Flo J stuck out in my mind, because it was not anything like anybody else had done. He was collaborating with the homeboy, and they, you know, it was, I think he did it, I can't remember exactly, but I think it was like to the Hail Mary beat. You know
I think I was at the same show that he was at. I think I was at the same show, and I think I remember seeing the same thing. Was old boy 1 Ton was there too as well. So yeah, it was that show, and I remember Rhinestone and Flo J. I'm like, this is different, and this is definitely something worth investigating. And just like, and I'm a astute person and observant. I'm looking at the crowd, and it's just like a mixture of this is so familiar, but what is this? It was just like a lot of confusion, but enjoyment at the same time. So something along to that degree, but like not all the way there. But like, again, it's because Flo J and Riot, they're their own artists. They're fucking respectable and just awesome people and stuff like that. But when it comes to the R.U.D.E brand, it's just like, yeah, we want to do something that is more in the lane and in the zone for now, because we done the abstract shit. I want to say, like, you know, like I listened back to, and like especially during this whole album release party, it forced me to go back to listen to Entitled and Ego at the same time. That's why, you know, we picked our set the way we picked our set, and it's just like, okay, this stuff is not really mass produced. You can't hear this anywhere else. You can only hear it right here, and that rarity, that
it's unique.
The uniqueness.
Yeah, it's as a producer, as the engineer, it's something that I've really fucking worked on. Look, man, when I was like 4 years old, I decided I wanted to be Timberland or Dr. Dre or one of them two. And I was gonna figure out how to make my own sounds, my own noises that couldn't be emulated, that couldn't be reproduced. There is not a person on the planet that can remake Timberland sounds. They just can't. They're so unique and that's how I wanted our music to be, is kind of like that, digestible, but unique to the point that, like, you hear it and you're like, what the fuck? Like, I've never heard a bass line that sound like a bass or hi-hats that sound like that. It's just so different, but at the same time, it's still comfortable. It still falls into that category, you know what I mean? It makes people feel like, oh, yeah, this is dope hip-hop, you know what I mean? But it's not the same. It's not the same.
Hey, you gotta set yourself apart, man.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. You know, you can come in and, you know, try to just emulate other sounds out there, you know what I'm saying? And that'll work for a minute. You might even drop something that's hot, but longevity is gonna be creating a completely unique sound.
Yeah.
You know, that's what Dilla did. That's what so many people have done to, you know, actually pave a lane, you know.
No, exactly. That's like I said, that's something I've always been anti-mainstream. You know what I mean? And you hear, you throw on the radio or, like, you know, popular hip hop, trap rap, whatever this mumble shit is right now. What's driving?
Mumble rap. We're shooting up the ops now. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're doing. We're doing credit card scams. There's munches and there's. What else? We got city girls and city boys. We got Scammers United. Hey man, we got
out there. You know,
we got a lot of shenanigans, man. We have a lot of shenanigans that's like kind of like, and again, for it to have such a nationwide attention and coverage, it's just like, again, it dilutes the pure art of hip hop. But it's just like, I feel like, with that being said, it's just like you gotta look at it, who's running the industry and shit like that. Of course, gotta keep an eye on that. And it's just like, okay, how can we break through that noise and that? Because people don't like to pay attention to shit that makes sense. You know what I mean? If they did that, the world would be a way better place than it is now. So it's just like, okay, how can we go low but kind of hit them over the head? You know what I mean? It's like one of those, like a martial arts technique that, you know, you just got to figure it out. You know, do a little fake under, just boom, hit you over the top. And the over the top is like, we knock some sense back into the culture, knock some sense back into the craft, and force rappers to be like, hey, we should stop with all this shenanigans and bullshit and get back to the craft and the art. And, you know what I mean, what hip hop is all about is spreading a message of, you know, change, innovation, growth, you know what I mean, just really, really advancement to advance the craft. Because again, this is something that is ours, and knowing our history in this country and a culture that we created, we innovated in this country to be mucked up to the point that we're hearing it now. You know what I mean? I think it's imperative that we should get back to that innovation. You know what I mean? It's like, things are still fucked up here in this world. And you know what I mean? Like, if people want to address it politically, I feel like what him and I started addressing is like, okay, fuck the politics. It's all about person. Every person has a sense of entitlement. Every person has an ego. So we try to figure out, what does every person has? Let's address that. And then the chips will fall where they may be. But again, it's going over so many people's head It's just like saying like, no, don't you see this is what we're doing? We're talking about you.
We're talking about you. We're not talking about
us. We're not. Yeah, like the bullshit is cool.
Yeah.
But we're really talking about you here. You know what I mean?
Hey, they not ready for that self growth. That's really what it is.
No, that's the hardest part though. Is like he was saying, is we're talking about you. You know what I mean? And it's not even if you don't want to grow or address it yourself, you have to realize that, you know what I mean? It's bigger than just, you can't honestly listen to our music and think we're that fucking cocky. Come on.
No, you guys are talking about things in the music.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I'm talking my shit. I ain't gonna hold you. I am that cocky. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, I'm not.
but I'd rather say I'm overly confident. You know what I mean? Even though I have no reason. If you look at me, I have no reason to be. But it's just that thing that came out of me since day one. It's just like, you know what? I'm him. But let's talk about you.
Let's talk about
you know what I mean? Like, I'm him. Don't worry about me.
Because these thoughts that we all have, you know what I mean? Like that. You know, we all feel that about ourselves. I'm him. You know what I mean? But when we say this shit to the microphone or to the audience, like we're saying that to ourselves, then you hear it like your taste. You know, you digest it like it's coming from yourself. That's what we want, is that we're your conscience. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we're that little voice in your head.
Both aspects.
You know what I mean? Yeah, both aspects. That was the performance last night, is, you know, and the whole rebrand of the cherub, the fallen angel. You know, everybody came from the same place, you know, without losing that hope. That little angel, if you really look at the logo, that angel's falling backwards, still playing that trumpet though, holding it high, happy as hell, right? That's where we're at. That's where we're all at. You know, we all came from the same place. We're all here, but we got to make the best of it. You understand what I'm saying? But with the red and black last night, and him with the white and black, that angel and the devil on your shoulder, the conscience, you know what I mean? That's what we want you to see. That's where we're coming from with our music. At least for me, that's what I'm trying to hit you with, is, you know.
And again, like with us, we're just such a contrast and such a duality. You know what I mean? It's just like we do kind of represent, you know, to some form, the human psyche. You know what I mean? Because again, I'm a thinker, like I said earlier. So just like I'm like, okay.
He thinks too much, I feel too much. And that's exactly how it goes. Is when I'm feeling too much, I gotta call him to like, yo, what you thinking? When he thinking too much, he'll call me like, yo, what you feeling? And that's it. Like,
hey, that's a good flow though.
You know, and it works too. It works, because then I don't gotta think too much. Because when I think too much, I fucking lose it. You know what I mean? That's not my wheelhouse. I stay in my lane. You understand what I mean? Right. And I know he feels the same way. If he starts feeling too much, it's gonna fuck him up. You know what I mean?
Nah,
he gotta stay where he cool.
You gotta know yourself, you know.
Exactly.
Hey, that's really dope though, because that spurs a question that I have for you gentlemen, real quick. I'm not trying to go off on a tangent with it, but
we can go on many tangents as you want.
Hey, with that being said, with what y'all just said, is there? And of course, so you're producing the tracks. You know what I'm saying? Are you doing more on the wordsmith side, on the lyric side? Is it like split between y'all two? Who's doing y'all's lyrics?
So the way the songs work is basically like he'll sometimes throw out ideas, or he'll give me, you know, he'll throw me instrumentals and say, hey, we need something like this, or we need something like this. I start from scratch. You know, I'll listen to a beat he sends, but then I'm trying to remake that vibe. You know what I mean? I think we maybe have one song.
Only one.
That I used another producer's beat, and it fucking kills me to this day, because that's not what I want to do.
Right.
But I had to take that beat, and I had to chop it up, and I had to mix it and manipulate it and make it unique enough that, because I don't ever want to put something out there to have another musician come back to me like, hey dog, like, you know what I mean? I made that. Like, you don't have to do that. Because I don't want anybody to do that to me. Like, if I put something out there and you want to reuse it, that's cool. But don't copy my shit. You understand what I mean? That ain't cool with me. Yeah. So I'm trying to do the same thing. I don't want to reuse somebody's beat and then throw my lyrics on top of it. Like, that whole mixtape thing, I get it for you know, up and coming rappers and shit, but I hate it. I hate it. Yeah. I don't want to hear Drake over a Lil Wayne beat because Lil Wayne made the song hot fucking 10 years ago. I don't. I don't give a fuck. I like the original song. You understand what I mean? I don't want to hear it remade 6-7 times with 57 different rappers.
And that's another thing that's been going on in hip hop these days. Motherfuckers using old beats from the 90s and the early 2000s.
Talk about it.
Start doing your own shit.
Listen. I have to say this. If y'all motherfuckers are out there taking old beats from the 90s and 2000s, you're just throwing your little verses on there and calling it a new song, you're a fresh 5-pack of ass.
Yeah.
Hey, that's right, man. That's true.
To me, you are better off throwing that shit on a little mixtape, on your SoundCloud, or whatever the fuck. Do not put it on the radio station as if it's your own song.
Your hot new single?
I hate it. I hate that.
It's a remix.
That's why he said we have one.
And I hate it.
Hate it, but hey, we only have one. There's 17, 16, 18 others that are just, and about to be like, what, 19, 20 that are going to be original.
I start with a sound. I hate it to the point where I can't even use, you know what Splice is?
Yep.
I'll download sounds off of Splice. I'll put them into Pro Tools or Ableton, and I'll manipulate the sound. I'll change that. If I download an 808, I love the sound of the 808. Dope, that'd be sound cool in a song. But how many producers across the world are going to use that fucking 808 or that same sample, or that you start hearing these repeats and these remakes and all this shit starting to sound the same? Nah, we're not doing that. Yeah. I'll download those sounds and I'll manipulate them. I'll turn it, speed it up, pitch it up. You know, I'll throw it through a different EQ, different filters. I'll throw it through whatever so it sounds unique, and then we'll build from there. I want that shit to sound different. You understand? So it kills me even with downloading samples. Because I'm not a musician to the point where I can pick up any instrument and just play it. If I could, there'd be a problem. There'd be a problem. Y'all don't want that. Y'all do not want that.
Nah, they don't, but I do. I will learn that, play the guitar fucking tomorrow. I will Ray Charles. I'm wearing the glasses right now. I will Ray Charles this bitch tomorrow. Look, man, no, fuck that. We're coming for y'all next. We're gonna learn some instruments. It's gonna go down. Future. The fuck is happening?
That's a good idea.
Fuck you mean they don't want that? Fuck it. I don't want that. Shit. We talking game changer. You do a show and you see these glasses on. Where? Nigga, I am going crazy.
You know, speaking of this conversation, somebody that's like that, Masego.
Okay.
You know, because Masego, he's with the instruments and all that. Crazy. We're on this topic of like sampling and everything. Because Masego, you know, he just dropped an album, not even like 2-3 months ago, not even probably 2 months ago, and it was a trip because one of the tracks on there, "What You Want to Try," he sampled his own track from his last album that dropped like 2 or 3 years prior. I think it was Lavish Lullaby or something like that. But he sampled his own track. And only like 2 or 3 years back. And with him, he's got the confidence to where he's like, well, I fucking did it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, see?
He's got that big ass ego too. I fucking with Masego too.
Yep.
That's tight. I didn't know he sampled his own song though.
But going back to like the song process, it's like so usually I send him like a concept, an idea. Sometimes I may send him like a hook or two, and he does his own thing because this guy, he just cooks out hooks like T-Pain. It's crazy.
Oh shit.
So he's a hook guy. So I just I give him that's not my strong suit when it comes to writing because I'm such a verse guy. You know what I mean? Like again, thinker props. So I'm like, all right, man, here's a couple bars from this fucking 16. Throw it his way. What you got? Can you break it down, simplify it, do whatever? Then he writes his verse, and then he sends it to me, and I'm like, okay, here's the concept of the song. Here's where he's going with his verse. Let me be complimentary and be the opposition, both at the same time. When it comes to that's why the contrast and the difference is the way it is, because that's how I want it to be. Like if you're gonna work in tandem with the duo, you're gonna need to not be the same person on the second verse. You gotta be somebody you have your big boy, you have your Andre 3 Sacks, you know what I mean? You got that that southern hippie and that southern gangster at the same time. You know what I mean? But what makes R.U.D.E different is just I'm by my drawl and my tone of my voice and how heavy and how loud it is, it's southern as fuck, and he got that cool West Coast, voice and shit like that. So it's different. Very, very different. It's very, very new. It's very, very unique. So like it makes the song process easy. Like we did fucking Ego like in a weekend, essentially.
Oh shit!
It took me a couple trips to go back and like re-record and shit like that, but essentially we did Ego in a weekend. It was like, hey,
it was recorded in pretty much like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
damn.
The whole project in total, I've been building for like 2 years, but when it came down to the structure and the process of like, all right, let's figure these fucking songs out, and we got to record this and do that. Yeah.
Here's this beat, here's that beat, here's that beat, and
it was so quick.
It took me going to Reno, back and forth from Reno, from here to Reno, to go and do the recordings and shit like that.
And both times we did the music video and recorded in the same weekend.
Oh shit!
So it was like they were almost to the point that, I mean, most of the time, like Asaad said, he'll either send me a concept or I'll already have something like built, like a beat. I'll send him a beat. And he'll come back with, yo, this would be fire with this verse. Or he'll send me some lyrics to it or whatever. Or I'll already have a hook on it. And I'll just send it over to him. He'll come back with a verse. I'm like, all right, dope, that verse is perfect. Now I got something to write to or to write against or to compliment, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or vice versa. And I think we've gotten to the point now where I can send him a song. Like, I've got a couple in my pocket. Like, why did I just send you Play Too Much? What's the other one?
And that Maybach Feelings. Oh my God, wait till you guys hear that one.
Oh.
Hey,
that one. Yeah, but those ones, same thing. Like I just made the beat because I'll go in the studio and just mess around, and I'll come up with something that if I could put a beat on and make an instrumental that I could put on repeat in my studio and listen to for like 2-3 hours, we got something. If that shit's on repeat and I'm vibing that whole time, now you're talking about I as the producer, I don't get sick of it. Yeah, we got something. If I just listen to it, and that's how I produce my beats. Is if I make something and I can put it on and just let it play, and it doesn't bother me. It's in the background. We got something. You know what I mean?
Whenever I'm coming up with like a song or I have a verse already, somebody made me mad. And I'm just like, all right, well, I'm like, Jordan, I took that personally. So guess what, bitch? I got a song for you in mind, buddy. So
hey,
that's
they don't realize that's the therapy too, though. You know, you gotta let them know, like, hey,
don't end up in the song. Don't end up in the song. Don't end up in the verse. I swear to God, you don't want to do it. And there's so many that are in the song and in the verse may feel the type of way about
there's so many subliminals in there.
So many subs, but it's okay. They know that they're wrong, and you learned.
Be accountable. Be accountable.
Hey, I taught you. I learned you.
That's what's up. I love that you guys have control of your sound.
Yeah.
Because that's something that people don't always have out there, especially once you start expanding to a duo and even further than that, you know what I'm saying? It becomes harder to establish your sound. And you guys have, whether it's over time or whether it was just as straight up as easy as ever when you guys first started, you guys had that and have grown that sound.
Yeah.
Well, it's not without trial and error as well, because like we were part of a group called Not a Crew, but it's something that we did not even wanted to do in the first place. And that's where it really like it gave me and Tyler confirmation, something that we knew like years ago. Because again, we fucked around, like it just chilled and made like a goofy ass song or two with old boy from Acro Productions and shit like that.
Like 20 years ago.
Like feels like 20 years ago. We're not that old, bro.
Listen, I'm 34. We were probably 15, 16.
No, fam, I've not been here that long. You always get that time warp. Strange, okay? I came out here at 20 years old, so I'm 33.
That's still 15, 14 years
13 years ago, so it's not 20, it's 13.
It's closer to 20.
Okay?
Once you get past 10, nigga, fuck
Hey. My man did not do roundups well in that class. Rounding up from 13 is 15. That's still a far away from 20. All right. But like that's
creeping up there.
But like again, the trial and error and the fact that like, you know, in real life were complementary pieces. You know what I mean? Like that's my best friend right there. So it just made the music a little bit easier to do, and you know what I mean? Like I don't have like, despite what people may perceive, I don't have a big ego at all. I'm like one of the most humblest people that you ever probably fucking meet in your life. Like, you know, I know at the end of the day, I'm like, yeah. I know at the end of the day, I'm just human. I'm just a man. Even though there'll be times I feel like I'm a fucking god in this bitch. It's just those times. It's just those emotions that, you know.
Hey, that's all Leo energy. You know what I'm saying? First of all, being the king energy, and then being misunderstood.
Oh, that's that. You said a word right there, because the misunderstood. That's going to be the title of our new project.
Like, next one.
Or the next song is misunderstood, because man, that is my life, and that last night 100% was a confirmation of that. So thank you on that. But no, it's just like, you know, again, like you have to know who you are as a person, and know who you want to be and where you want to go in life. And I knew exactly what I wanted to be and where I wanted to go in life very early in life. So just like I kind of just stuck to it, you know what I mean, persevered through that, and you know what I mean, and just stay committed to that growth mindset. You know what I mean? I don't want to be the same person ever. You know what I mean? Like you said, people are reluctant to grow, people are reluctant to change. I don't understand. I can't understand those people, because why? It just sounds so boring and mundane. It just want to stay the same throughout your whole life. Like, no, every man or every woman, every person must reinvent themselves. Like, reinvention is just a key thing to a progressive and a happy life. You got to reinvent yourself. I feel like over these past 2-3 years, I've become a totally different person than I was 5, 6, 7 years ago. And that's a short time frame for a lot of growth to happen. You know what I mean? Like, when my mom passed away,
whole picture.
Yeah, and me just like, yeah, that's cool, but that part right there.
The artist struggle.
It's hard, bro. It's hard.
Yeah, no,
it's hard.
It's ass.
I love y'all give a fuck about the sound though.
Oh
and
yeah,
the quality of the music.
Absolutely.
You know, we need that in Humboldt County.
That's so important to me too. Like, and this is not to throw shade at any other artist. You know what I mean? I understand
all the shade.
No, but I understand the struggle.
Rooney.
But one thing I heard consistently last night was, I heard people asking the artists where they got their instrumentals and their beats, and I heard most of them say, "Oh, we buy them." You know, BeatStars, or you know, they get a couple from buddies here and there, or they lease them, or. That's not what I want to do. You know what I mean? I care about our music and our sound enough to the point that I want it all to be original. You know what I mean? Like I said, not to throw shade on any other artists, but that's completely opposite, and maybe that's the difference. What sets us apart from other artists is that's a whole different game to me. I'm trying to make something brand new. You know what I mean?
Literally a different lane.
Yeah, something that's never existed before.
And imagine the blessing on my end as an artist, as a writer, as a lyricist and shit like that, to have your best friend be a producer, so I don't really have to do all that. But like, hey, I need one.
That's, you know how many times you text me like I need some instrumentals, dog. You know how many times I texted back like, you know, I've been charging for these, right? He's like, yeah. So you can hear my email though, right?
I'm like, nigga, it's me. Like, give me a beat, feed me.
No,
nigga, what's happening?
He know he's getting all the first
You know what I'm
choice.
saying? Like, you charge them. but like again, like when it comes to like again, taking your head out of your ass and just like appreciating what's around you and looking around, it's like, yeah, man, there's a lot of artists around here who struggles to find good quality producers and good quality sound and to like find their own identity. And I've been so blessed, you know what I mean, with the opportunity to be working with this man right here, that I could just find my own sound and discovery and style with an original beat from scratch. And it's just like, or I could just like, oh man, I need these 808s over here. What about these drum pads, this drum pattern over here? It's like I'll be there just right there, like, okay, that'd be sauce, it'd be added this over here, that over there. To be involved in that process too, without just having to rely on somebody, you know what I mean, or service like BeatStars, or you know what I mean, like, or whatever. Again, it's just like, it's a huge blessing. I think that's why I don't take it for granted at all. This is my guy right here. So I'm just like, hey,
I appreciate that.
I know he got me, and I know I just, if I ever need one, if I ever need something, and that vice versa. Whenever he's stuck on the verse and he needs some shit with lyrics, and he needs like a punchline or two, I'm like, hey, you got a mad genius over here. So you know,
that's the compliment right there. Is like he was just saying, you know, he blessed to work with me, but on the contrast, the same thing. I'm not a rapper. I'm not, and I will tell everybody publicly on the podcast, I'm not a rapper. I've never wanted to be a rapper. I don't rap. I'm a poet, right? I write poetry. I've written poetry since I was fucking 4 years old. The only reason my shit sounds like rap is because I wanted to produce hip hop, and I couldn't find rappers to rap on my music. How do I figure that out? Okay, well, let me structure my poems so they rhyme like fucking raps. Cool. That's why my shit sounds so poetic, but I get stuck. I can't freestyle. It takes me a second to sit down and write my shit. I will write the hell out of a song. But on the contrast to like what he's saying, what a blessing it is for me to be like, all right, let me make some shit and throw it over to my homies. I know it's gonna come back with a fucking verse in like 5 minutes. and then all of a sudden I've got another 50, 60 ideas on where this song could go. I've got hooks flying off my fucking head now just because of I was able to throw it through this AI generator. He came back with a verse. You understand me?
A couple of our songs, especially in both projects, those verses did not take me long to write at all. Like, you know what I mean? Like, again, like I stay up late nights because, you know, I'm a fucking insane person, and just write whatever, or someone say something fly to me, I'm like, bitch, Here's a quick little 8 for you. Here's a quick little 12 over there. I got a 16. Here's a 24. Here's a 48. You know what I mean? And it's just like that's like a nightly ritual to me at some point. You know what I mean? Especially during the pandemic, I was just like, so whenever we're working on our next project, it's like I got a verse already right here. I got one already right here. You throw a concept. Oh, I already thought of that concept, and I got one for this right here. And it's just like going from that part. It's just making sure the sound and the pace and the cadence matching his production. Mm-hmm. That's basically like how we work. So yeah, it's complimentary. It's
a dope process.
That's my therapy too. It's like my nightly ritual is producing. Like music is therapeutic to me. That's how I meditate. I would literally go in the studio and produce instrumentals just to listen to it. Never, no intent of using it for a song. I don't want to write to it. It's just simply for background noise and ambiance, and I'll put it on and listen to it. Like I said, if I can put it on for a couple hours and it doesn't bother me, we got something to work with at that point. You know what I mean? And that's where it hits me, and then I'll throw him over to him. He's like, oh, I got something ready for that. You know what I mean? I'll tell him what the vibe is, what I caught from it, and he's like, I got something for that. So it's starting to get to that point where, yeah, we're hitting that like factory process. This is like, this shit's just gonna start pumping out pretty quick, and people aren't gonna understand like, how's that work? Like how are you able to come up with a beat and then a song concept and then release a song and you got this whole project just done like that? Because that's really what we've been working for. That was the whole rebrand, the Ego logo. You know what I mean? They're package deals at this point. When we sell our art, you're getting the merchandise, the logos, the whole, everything's coming with it. The visuals, the audio, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's starting to get to that point where we're putting together products, you know what I mean? Not just making noise. So
yeah, that's what's up.
It's working.
Hey man, I've been following you, on the socials and what you be doing with your studio's dialed, number one. I wanted to ask you real quick, I think I might have saw something about you have a certification, or am I wrong on that?
I just graduated, I got a bachelor's degree in audio production from Full Sail University.
Oh, dope.
So last September, and then I'm Pro Tools certified.
Oh, dope.
Yeah. A couple little things hanging on the wall there, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why we're about to bust y'all ass over the next couple years.
You heard that? Certified, folks.
All right.
Yeah.
You thought entitled was a problem. You thought this little EP was a problem. Just you wait.
Tell them.
The Ego project really was, when I started Ego was when I started school. About 2.5 years ago. It never really came to the point of I wanted it to be this, album project, but I started putting together and compiling these songs that I could have as I went through this education process that I could build with, and that I could show the contrast of what Entitled sounded like versus what Ego sounds like. And if you listen and you're an audio engineer, you're gonna hear a stark contrast. The way we mixed, mastered, recorded Entitled, 100% wrong. We did that shit backwards. Technically, and the way we made it come out sounding as good as it did, I don't know. But knowing what I know now, I'd have been like, what the fuck are y'all doing? What are you doing?
It was ass backwards.
It was so backwards.
Ass backwards.
And
but it still worked. That's the crazy part. It still worked.
Mm-hmm. But that's what I wanted with Ego, is to people to hear the contrast, to feel the contrast, but also to understand that we're out here working. This is going to turn into, like I said, like a factory type process where you give us an idea, you get a song from it, you get a video, visual, logo. It's just going to start pumping back products at you based on what you're feeding us. You know what I mean? And we're the reflection, we're the mirror,
And folks, not only with the reflection, folks, y'all are the room full of badass kids. And we the dads swinging that door open with a bell in our hand, a stern look on our face. That's how much we're gonna be on y'all ass.
That's it.
I promise you.
Yeah. They better be ready.
They ain't ready for this ass whooping.
Damn. Damn, fellas. Well, so another artist, because we're constantly coming back to quality of sound, because that's one of y'all's things.
Yeah.
I saw the track that you did with R.U.D.E.
Yes,
I think
sir.
you produced it, right?
On that one, so his last 2 tracks, Sequoia out of Shady Manila Studios produced those.
Dope.
He produced them and mixed them. They recorded them over there at Shady Manila. They sent those to me to master, to finalize, to do final mix and masters. So yeah, I just sent them out, or they sent them to me. I track them out, run them through Pro Tools, do my thing on them, make them sound done, and then I send them back.
That's what's up.
And then he releases them that way. So
shout out to Sequoia and Shady Manila.
Yes, sir.
Those beats were fire.
Shout out.
Yeah.
That was good work.
And
that was
hit
good work,
TRAAC
fellas.
up for mastering, for the whole, I want to say at least the whole sound process in terms of, people can hit you up for beats.
from start to finish. So I mean,
This is dark skinned Russ.
look, I'll work with.
We'll have to let the hair out.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna hold you.
I'll work with artists and musicians from start to finish. For example, I've got a gentleman right now who's working on a audio book / poetry book that he wants to produce later on into a musical compilation album.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't know where to start. Okay, that's fine. I do sound design. I make custom, like from scratch. You know what I mean? I'll make footstep noises or whatever. So I'll make room tones. Literally, I can design an entire soundscape from nothing. You understand what I mean? I could take this sound and make it sound like fire. You know what I mean? Like that's where I'm at with my audio production. So he had no idea where to start. I sat down with him on a Zoom call for like 2 hours and, just told him start writing. I'll start building some ambiance, background noise, and then we can record over that. And you do your audio book that way, and then we start to vibe out with it. And those parts that start to feel like songs, maybe aren't just so poetic, you can kind of catch a little rhythm to them. We'll produce from there. If I've got to record it and loop it and start, creating a bounce to it, that's where I go with it. So if you need any kind of production, mixing, mastering, recording, whatever, like we'll figure it out. You know what I mean? I'm at that point now where we can make that shit work. I'll make video game sounds. I'll make podcast background noises. Anything to complement. If it has to do with audio, we got you. I got you.
That's what's up. That's really dope, because one thing I want to let folks know, something that I just come across in all this, social media scrolling and shit like that, trying to grow and learn shit. A lot of these viral videos, they go viral. One of the elements is the sounds.
The audio.
Mm-hmm.
The audio. And you don't realize, I didn't even realize, even being a producer before I went through this schooling program, you don't realize how much audio influences everything. When it really hit me was when one of my instructors sat us down and we were doing music for film. So we were basically doing audio post-production for movies. Okay, so they gave us a movie scene completely silent. It's just the movie scene. And I've got to make all the sounds for that movie scene.
Oh,
I've
shit.
got to record the voices. So we've got a script and a spreadsheet of what sounds they want in it. Other than that, make a movie. You know what I mean? So having to work from that is, one, it's a lot of pressure, but the creativity and the freedom you get with that is insane.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's where I really took it and started running with it. But it didn't start to hit me until that instructor sat us down and was like, how many of y'all are Star Wars fans? Okay, 99% of the class, everybody. What's a lightsaber sound like? That shit was made up. Lightsabers don't exist. They're fake. But you are 100% convinced that's what it fucking sounds like, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, that's audio production. They did that audio so well that it is ingrained in the memory of everybody that's watched Star Wars. What's a Tyrannosaurus Rex sound like? We all know. Mm-hmm. But I bet you referenced Jurassic Park, huh?
Yep.
Because they fucking killed that audio production. That's how importance of audio in everything is insane. All these TikTok videos on social media, you watch that shit on mute. It's not interesting.
Yep, it doesn't hit.
There's nothing there. You're just watching visuals.
Yeah. I've been seeing some things on TikTok. But anyway,
they still might hit.
Them thickies are thinking on TikTok, man. I ain't gonna hold you. I don't know what the algorithm is doing to me, boy. But yo, I can't be on TikTok too long.
Going through that just made me fall in love with the audio production all over again, because I was already in it for the music and the emotion response, and you know what I mean. But then when they put it into perspective like that, I'm like, damn, like, because I can make noise that can fucking influence millions of people for generations, just like that lightsaber noise. Mm-hmm. You understand how probably proud and fucking, like, how much pride that audio producer has just to know, like, yeah, I made that fucking noise. Mm-hmm. And now when you ask people what's a lightsaber sound like you don't know, but I made that shit. Like, that's crazy to me. Mm-hmm. That's so crazy to me. But with everything, you know what I mean? You watch these superhero movies, that Zack Snyder, remake, 4 hours. You can't watch that shit on mute. The audio is the most important part. That's what makes the scenes. It's what creates the movement. It's, you hear the sounds from behind you and in front of you and the explosions here. That's all audio production.
I ain't gonna hold you. They did do too much of the Wonder Woman scene with the
crazy voices and shit.
I'm like, hey, yo, every time she's walking this side of the room to the other side of the room. Why need all of that for that scene in particular? Yo, sing to the intro. That's all I need for that. Not every action scene, right? All right,
no, that's funny. That's funny as hell.
Oh man, but that was a good movie though. Moving on.
Yeah, that's what, like I said, that's why I fell back in love with the audio production. But that's really where I come from it with is, like I tell people, if you need help with making noise, I got you. Mm-hmm. Any kind of noise, cool noise, weird noise, dope noise, music noise, whatever.
Mm-hmm. It's something that I think people are, and I'm not trying to, I'm definitely not trying to shit on Humboldt people. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to bring the reality to the surface. Mm-hmm. A lot of folks don't know these marketing tactics, these tips to make sure your shit pops. Mm-hmm. So y'all can talk to TRAAC for that. You know what I'm saying? We don't have a whole lot of people around here that are doing that.
Mm-hmm. I think the one of my theories of that is just like the mindset that hip hop is quote unquote a competitive sport. I feel like that is a farce and a lie. Maybe perhaps it used to be that, but as you can clearly see throughout the decades, it's more of a political avenue than a competitive sport. And I feel like here in Humboldt County, it's like, oh, I got to be better than that group. Oh, I got to be better than that act. Oh, we got to make better music than that act. Oh, I got better sound. I got a better style. Whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. But if you get your head out of your ass and start being more collaborative rather than competitive, it's still an essence of competitiveness. Don't get it wrong. But it's not the end all be all. I feel like that whole hip hop is a competitive sport is a young man's mentality. Because again, I'm 33, he's 34. We've been around for a minute, right? You know what I mean? We still got plenty more to go, but we've been around for a minute. And I feel like, me personally, I'm in the mindset, it's like, listen, I know who I am. I know my style. I know exactly what the fuck I'm made of and what the fuck I can do. I'm not worried about you. You know what I mean?
And I think
I'm not worried about you. Like, in a competitive stance, I'm like, hey man, if you want to work together, we can do that. There's so many artists that, you know what I mean, around here, especially like those who are based out in Eureka or based out in Fortuna, Trinidad, McKinleyville, whatever, around the towns you may be. You know what I mean? They feel the type of way because I'm an arcade rapper, quote unquote. You know what I mean? First of all, don't call me a fucking rapper. That's so insulting, okay? Like, rappers are so gimmicky and just they just copy each other and just, take the content and just regurgitate and just say the same shit in a different voice. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That's what rappers are to me. If you're an artist, and I'm an artist and a lyricist, those are the two things I am. And I was, matter of fact, that's my next tattoo. Artist, lyricist, not a fucking rapper. So it's just again, going back to my point, it's like, if we learn to work, like, that's why I fuck with Mean Street so tough, is acts like Highway, Soul and Reeve, R.U.D.E, they have, in their own right, have all the reason to be like, nah, I want to do a show with you guys. Like, you know, we could do our own show. Like, you know, we could do our own thing. Fuck you guys. But it was more of a collaborative effort. That's why if you were there, it was a whole sonic experience and a great fucking time because it was a collaboration. It wasn't a competition. It wasn't, hey, is R.U.D.E set gonna be better than Jazzy Jane said? Is Soul Reef gonna beat out R.U.D.E? Is Highway gonna come through and shit on everybody? It wasn't that. It was like, hey, let's all get together and make a great fucking show and a collaborative effort. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, there's little hints of competition, that's cool, but that wasn't the primary objective. The primary objective was to collaborate and work together, because the more that we work together, the more that the people here will respect the local music scene. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's a team effort. I've been doing music in Humboldt since I was 13. 14 is when I started kind of hitting the turntables and DJing little high school parties and shit.
So that's almost 20 years.
It's a long time.
Damn old.
I know.
We aging you out, TRAAC.
And I'm not the one to compete with anybody. Like I said, I pride myself on being different. If you feel like you're competing with me, then there's something wrong with you. We're not playing the same game. You know,
we're not playing the same game here.
And that's what I was trying to get. Like, and with the Beat Street idea or the Mean Street idea, y'all seen Beat Street, you know, and we all saw the Get Down, and that's original hip hop culture to me. And yeah, there's definitely that competitiveness to hip hop. Just like any other game we like to play, there's competitiveness, but at the same time, this is a team sport. And the whole goal with last night was to put on one successful show, not make one successful set better than the next successful set. The whole idea behind the show is to put everybody on the show and be on the same page. And so it was weird because actually Jasmine has been a part of a lot of shows out in Reno, and she was telling me, like, you know, when we were talking about getting her on the bill, she was like, yeah, you know, I was telling me her pay rate and this and that. And I'm like, yeah, I got you, you know, you're covered, everything. And then when she got there yesterday, she realized that she had been placed on the set list in between us and Highway. Now, us and Highway are technically R.U.D.E. Highway was the show. That was the 2 album release parties. We're the headliners. And she approached me and she's like, why am I before Highway? And I looked at her kind of weird and was like, what do you mean? And she's like, well, this is your guys' show. And I was like, I know that, but that was not what it was about. Like, I don't give a fuck about being higher on the bill than you. I put you in place because I'm looking at it from an audio experience. I spent most of my night out last night watching from the crowd and listening to the sets because I wanted to see how that shit came together. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And when they saw that and we broke up the monotony of, all right, this is the 4th male rapper group up on stage, Jasmine was the wrench in the gears. You understand what I'm saying? She brought a whole different vibe, a whole different element. She jumped down on the floor and was talking to the females, rapping to the females. Whereas the females are watching us and listening to us and we're engaging with the crowd, but we're not able to do that like Jazzy is. You understand what I mean? We needed that whole different element. That's why I put her in place in between the headliners. You know what I mean? I don't look at this like, oh, we need to be higher up on the bill. This is our show. We want that later slot. No. You know what I mean? It's different than that for me. So I wanted to build that community experience. You know, we try to do like a little meal thing early on in the day before the show, just because I've been a part of a ton of shows where you just show up, you've never met the artists that are on the bill, y'all dap up and you do your thing, and then you leave at the end of the night and nobody knows anybody. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I realized after doing that little shit yesterday, Esh has never met Highway. Jasmine has never met Pressure. Like, there are people that have grown up in this community that are so influential as far as music goes that don't even fucking know each other. That ain't cool with me. That ain't cool with me at all. We're all playing the same game and you don't even know each other's names. The hell with that. Like, we're a team. this is a community. You know what I mean? And like you said, we're not gonna grow individually out this place. I've been here long enough to know that it's gonna take all of us working together collaboratively to make some fucking real noise for Humboldt County.
Let's stop playing the games, y'all. Let's be the 91 Chicago Bulls.
Let's
start
that
fucking dynasty.
Get some rings.
Playing with us.
That's
Get some rings.
And I think, what's interesting about
I'm Jordan, though. Don't get it twisted. I will take shit personally.
I already told y'all I'm Pippin.
So anybody think y'all can be the Rodman, the Ron Hoppers,
Steve Kerr,
Tony Kukoc. Y'all got it. That's y'all.
No, y'all funny. No, man. Damn, I lost my train of thought. Shit. No, you guys are exactly right on with us needing to collaborate, because I think one thing that's in everybody's minds. I'm not just trying to speak for folks out there, you know what I'm saying? But I think that there's this kind of thought that because this is a smaller area, because that we're all dealing with this issue of the media not doing right by hip hop and giving hip hop its fair share, considering how many artists are in Humboldt County making hip hop. Exactly.
Good hip hop.
Right? So there's only so much attention. There becomes this like scarcity. And so people feel like it's like we're all fighting for this little bit of that pie, not realizing if it all was everybody coming together, you create a different situation. You create a completely different situation. And I think that Humboldt is evolving in that direction. I think with you guys doing what you're doing, even just saying this on the pod, letting folks know about that kind of energy, like letting them hear this from dope artists, like that's gonna make a difference. Like they're like, okay, we need to start getting out of that ego, you know what I'm saying, and start collaborating with folks. Because you guys did it with somebody who's really dope that does it around here, Highway. Highway collaborates with a lot of different people because he's that type of person. He's about promoting the scene. He's about promoting the music. He's Humboldt hip hop through and through. So if folks looked at that as the model, I'm not just trying to put Highway up like that, but I'm just saying, like, if folks, emulated that, where it's like, nah, let's be more open to collaboration. You know what I'm saying? It can't be everybody siloed off and thinking that, they're going to, I feel like people don't understand the power when you come together.
And and another thing, you got to look at the support factor of the citizens, of the people here in Humboldt. If you go to these hip hop shows, like the attendance you look at the lineup, it's like, oh, people should be there. A lot of people should be there. And you go to these shows and it's not that. It's because of the fact that we're not collaborating with each other. We're not truly together. People are not, people who are not artists are not hip, but they're a fan of hip hop. They like rap. They want to come out and support, but they don't see the cohesiveness of us, Humboldt artists, out here working collectively. Then why people will come out of their house to come support the shows if they don't think that it's not a collaborative effort, and people are like, the artists are not working together to give us a good show. Why should we come out and see them? It's all about that person who's on that bill. Let me get my fan base. Let me address them, other than cross promoting and cross collaborating. Like, hey, take this podcast, or like I have my podcast, you have this right here. We crossed over a couple of times. It's like it's working in tandem. I'm not competing with you. You're not competing with me. We're doing a collaborative effort.
You're not trying to take listeners from his podcast or vice versa.
And I'm not trying to take listeners from yours.
How much better would it work if you got both your listeners to listen to both?
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That's where I'm approaching. Like you said, with the sharing of it almost is like Humboldt to me is like this piece of pie, right? If you look at the world in general, you got this little piece of pie over here, right? And in Humboldt, we're trying to share the crumbs. As far as hip hop is concerned, we're trying to share crumbs or compete over crumbs. You know what I mean? Which I get that, survival instincts, and trying to do what you got to do to make it where you need to make it. Yeah, everybody's got to look out for their own, right? But at the same time, why are we trying to share or compete for crumbs off this little piece of pie when we can take a fucking step back and create an entirely different meal?
We can make our own damn pies. You ever seen Life?
Yes.
How much money it's gonna take for white pies and church for the big pies? How about that? Okay, all right. So anywho, but it's like this, like yeah, instead of fighting over crumbs and shit like that, we can literally like step back and be like,
it's a
all right,
potluck.
It's like you got the strawberries, I got the pie crust, you got the the cream cheese. We can make like a little strawberry cheesecake. We can make our own shit with you guys. Instead of all of us having these ingredients and fighting over shit that's already made, we can literally step back and make our own shit.
Yep.
That's the whole gear, and I've been trying to do this since we started the Not a Crew thing, and I've been talking to all these artists and preaching this shit, and I get this sideways look, like I get it, man, but it ain't gonna work like that. No, fuck it, it is gonna work like that.
It can work.
It will work.
If you get your head out of your ass and check your ego,
that's where we're
it can
at.
Work.
In Humboldt County, I hate to say this to you folks, it's not gonna work any other way.
Really
Nobody is getting the fuck out of here on their own. The closest we've got is Highway, and that's because Highway works how he works. He's willing to collaborate. He's willing to reach out, branch out, and continuously do shows like he did with us last night, because he knows what we're talking about right now is facts. That's just it.
No one on this face of this earth has ever been a success on their own.
No.
It's always been, and like, you know what I mean, there's some people who play the game dirty by hook or crook, that's cool, but there's other people say, no, without this team, without this collective bargaining and shit like that, without this collective agreement, I would not be here if it wasn't for them. I needed these people to get me here. So it's just like, yeah, whoever blows the fuck up out of here, good. That person is going to know and remember who was all there. And then you never know what kind of avenues and doors that can open. You know what I mean? It's like, again, everyone's doing the whole survival of the fittest, fighting over crumbs. Man, fuck that.
Yep.
Make somebody a chef and have that chef come through. It's like, yeah, I'm feeding everybody now.
Yep.
And that's the thing. It's that's how I approach my production and my music too. Like, I'm not trying to make all this stuff, the good music for R.U.D.E. You know what I mean? I've got beats that I will give away to people. If that shit blows up, then that's what the fuck I want for y'all. I'm not trying to hold it on to me so I can make the song for it, so my song blows up. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to do that. I want something to happen for whoever, anybody, all of us. You know what I mean? Like I just said a minute ago, it's a cookout. If everybody brings a plate, we could all eat. Or we could all stay at home and we could eat what we got.
That's it.
And again, this is again like my thing as just me as a person. I don't want to be a success just for me. No. It's not just for me at all. Like I want to reach to a certain status where I'm like, all right, come on, I got you. I remember you. Got you. I remember you from back in the day.
Shit.
Got you. I remember you as well. Come on. Yep. Hey, now we're in a big. We're on Drink Champs. I need to bring David on. And you bring your ass, bam. We see again.
Everybody comes up.
Everybody comes the fuck up.
It was R.U.D.E who talked about this too on the pod. A few other heads too, but when somebody pops, somebody around here is gonna pop. Whether it's young R.U.D.E or somebody else.
Sooner or later.
Yeah. And when that happens, the spotlight is gonna come on here. Just like when it was Cameron, R.U.D.E's boy.
Yeah.
He was like, "Hey, look at what happened with Prince George County, PG County. When Logic, whether you like him or not, when he got his level of notoriety, that put a little focus on there. Now you got Red Veil coming out of PG.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. So that kind of thing can do a lot for this county, and it's not gonna happen until we've got like all the artists. I ain't telling folks what to do.
No. Yeah, no, none of us are.
But if it was more like, hey, that's a dope hip hop show, just fucking put that on your Instagram. Just put that on your shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
a share is free. It's a click of a button.
15 seconds.
But again, this is where ego comes into play. It's like, oh, it's my page. So I get to control what I do. I don't want your shit on my shit. Like, bruh, it's gonna go away in 24 hours. It's a share on a story or share a post. Leave it up on there for you and just keep posting whatever you want to post. and it's still gonna be. It's just the fact that you did it. You took your it's not
Yeah,
that big
honestly,
of a deal.
it honestly takes more effort not to.
Honestly.
It takes a conscious effort to say, no, I'm not going to share that shit. Rather than just click the fucking share button. How easy is that?
How easy it is.
They don't take nothing but a fucking button.
It's true, man. People don't realize the power in these tools. And then they're sitting there using them for hours and hours a day and don't even know what they're doing. It's crazy.
They're looking at memes so they can steal and copy and post it on
And trying to figure out how they make themselves get big.
Or
am I going to share this so I go?
You know,
right.
I go.
Yeah,
it's crazy to me.
What y'all are talking about too, though, everybody collaborating. That's kind of what this new Hip Hop Congress is trying to do.
Okay.
We just formed it. Right now, it's me, Goldilocks, Julia, the owner of the Epitome Gallery. We got Brian Swizzle on there, Knack One.
Shout out to Swizz. Shout out to Knack.
Yeah, and Zigzilla, Zach Lane.
Shout out to Zig. Yes, sir.
And we're just trying to do exactly what y'all are talking about. It's like get folks to collaborate, come out of that shell, come out of that, like everybody silos off. We got to have, if we want to reach critical mass, we need the help.
Let's say, for example, like you just said, because it's going to happen sooner or later, one of these artists pops and that spotlight comes down on Humboldt. What does hip hop culture look like to the outside world? Everybody just does their own fucking thing and this one artist just happened to blow up? How much, you know what I mean? Like, think about that for a second. Is that what we want for Humboldt hip hop, or do we want that spotlight to look like, all right, this one artist pop because he's got a hella strong community behind him, a whole bunch of motherfuckers behind him, underneath him, that they've been working together, they've been pushing each other up to get to this point. It wasn't luck of the draw, just one, say it was Rowdy or whatever. Rowdy just happened to blow up. It's because we built Rowdy up to get there, and everybody that underneath him that we've been working with, that's the community. That's what hip hop is.
And I ain't gonna hold you. I'm not and this is coming from me. I'm not saying in a collaborative effort, if all Humboldt artists collaborate, doesn't mean we just throw one big event in Humboldt. We can take this act on the road.
That's what I wanted with Mean Street.
We again, we could take literally our lineup. We could take our lineup and take it to Oregon, Washington, LA, Phoenix, Texas, Midwest.
Because it was a good show.
Because it's a good show. And it's like, and you got these collective artists coming from Humboldt County that's going to put the spotlight on Humboldt County. See, motherfuckers are playing checkers out here when the game is chess. I'm playing chess. Y'all are playing checkers. Please play some fucking chess with me.
At least learn how to play.
At least learn the moves, goddamn it. I will teach you the pieces.
Just learn the names of the pieces or something.
God damn it, I'm the bishop. Magic. Oh fuck.
Oh shit. No, it's true though. Y'all got it exactly right. I mean, what I like too though is what I see y'all doing on the pod, because we need more of that. Like again, we need that critical mass. So when a lot of people just, whether it's that humble like work ethic where folks just don't want to work hard or whatever it may be, and I ain't shitting on the county by saying that. It's just it is what it is.
It's laid back, bro. It's easy going out here.
Yeah, but like folks are gonna have to like put the effort in, put the work in. And again, when you look at dudes like Highway, you see that he's put the work in. So you folks gonna have to put that same amount of work in. It's gonna be, I think it was Reef on the City Hippie episode of the pod where he was like, hey, those first, few shows, those are difficult, but you get through that and then you got that hunger, and so as long as y'all don't lose that hunger and continue to fuel that hunger out there, then it's gonna be all right. Loops back to what One Ton from Potluck just said on the episode that just dropped a few days ago. He was like, cannabis to hip hop in Humboldt County is this gift and a curse, because he was talking about cannabis. He was able to go and network and have some fucking fire ass cannabis, and that'd be like, oh shoot, like I remember the folks who remember One Ton because of the cannabis, so that's a gift. But the curse is, you get that, you get slow and you start slowing your moves down, that's where you don't want to be.
Listen, I've been hungry since 1989 in August, okay? Since I drew my first breath. And big as I am, I'm still hungry. Okay, so it's just like again, it's that desire, it's that motivation, it's the factor because, and that's what separates, you know what I mean, the weak from the strong, or you know what I mean, like people who are using this hip hop and this rap shit as a get rich quick scheme or whatever the fuck, rather than investing their time, mental, physical, spiritual investment into a craft and perfecting it to the best of your ability, taking that and just imagine like, you know, like you seen the John Wick movies. Mm-hmm. That nigga just don't have just one gun. Mm-hmm. Boy got a whole arsenal and a bulletproof jacket, suit and stuff, and going crazy. Oh, he run out of guns. I got swords. You're taking all these pieces and you're literally going around and you can fuck up the world, but you need more than what you have. That's the whole point of that whole little soliloquy. You need more than what you already have. Mm-hmm. That hunger is great. That drive is great. You need to know how to network. You need to know how to talk to people. You need to know how to read a room. You need to know how to catch a vibe. You need to know so many things in order for you to be successful. And not only for you to be successful, have those people around you and the people who was there along the way reach the kind of same success, but be a team fucking player. Like I said at the beginning, I'm a team player, yo. Like, you know what I mean? That's my, I do things for the good of the team. Like when we was talking about our set at Mean Street, I was like, hey, we should do this, do that for the good of the set, for the team. Not just like my personal ego, not to appease his ego or anything like that. This is for the good of the set, for the good of the show, for the good of the scene. You know what I mean? It's just, you have to think like that, beyond yourself. Because everything in life is bigger than you. Right. A lot of people think that they're bigger than life. Life wins. Life is undefeated. Just like Father Time. Okay? So you think that you're bigger than that, you're out of your fucking mind. And thinking that you're bigger than the scene, you're here in Humboldt and you're just bigger than that, you're more important, you're gonna blow, fuck everybody else, you're out of your fucking mind.
Well, and I like what you said too about, you know, art, like Highway's at the level that he's at, he's getting better and more known because he's put the work in. But what I think where folks are getting that fucked up is the work is not just sitting down and writing rhymes and making sure your music's on point. The work is networking. The work is getting out and doing these shows, working with other artists, collaborating, building a sense of community. That's why Highway's at where he's at, because literally I don't think there's not one other hip hop artist in Humboldt that can't walk up to Highway and he's cool with. You know, you understand what I mean? But that took work. That took effort on his part to go out and build those relationships, to make sure that he's established and cool with everybody. You understand what I'm saying? That's the work. That's where the real work comes in. The rhymes, the music, the shit, we're gonna do that anyways. I do that in my free time. You understand? But when I'm trying to be out here doing this, you know what I mean? I've spent 4 days out here and I've slept for maybe 5 hours because I'm working. I'm out here this is the first time I met you in person, but I'm gonna be here. You know what I mean? This is putting in the work to me. I gotta come over here and establish these relationships because I'm trying to build this thing all the way. You know what I mean? For all of Humboldt.
We don't half-ass shit
music
here.
It's not just R.U.D.E music. You know what I mean?
But here, R.U.D.E music,
hip-hop,
we do not half-ass.
You know? No.
Yeah.
We hold ass. Because we're assholes. Bars. Moving on. Bars.
No, man. I think it's really important though, because one thing that folks don't see is they may get a little bit of notoriety for a little bit, get a little bit of buzz going, then you lose track of the work that's constant that you have to do. Like you have to consistently be out there networking. Like you can't, if you go through a 6-month period of being stagnant, you might have practically fell off.
Yeah. No, that part. I feel that 100% because I've grown up here my whole life, established a lot of relationships. Like last night, I could step out. I know 95% of the people in the room. These last 3 years that I've lived in Reno. So trying to continue that and make sure that is, you know, it's been hard.
It's been hard. And it's just like,
you know what I mean? I've definitely felt the struggle, and you literally can fall off in just a short amount of time if you're not consistent with it. You know what I mean?
Like, I think before we dropped Like Chapo, that was like a smooth year and a half, almost 2 years since we dropped Entitled, because that dropped during the pandemic. So of course it was outside forces that was beyond our control, that way we couldn't do anything, but still that year and a half gap and 2 year gap between the drop of the project to the drop of this Like Chapo, like that was just the first thing that we just did. Is we just like, it's like, who you guys are again? I'm like, fam,
relearn people.
Huh? You forgot us already?
That short attention span is crazy.
Shenanigans. All right, bet. So that's why I'm like, all right, so we're going to drop this little video. You know what we're going to do? We're going to drop another video. You know what we're going to do that a few months after that? We're going to drop a project. You know what we're going to do after that? Do a show. And you know what we're going to do now? Drop another little project. And you know, so now I know that, hey, we on your ass now. Now I know that. So yeah, man, stagnancy. That's like been my number one pet peeve, my number one enemy, stagnancy. I hate being stagnant. So that year in the gap break, hey, it's the last one, y'all. Now we're gonna every 3 months.
There we go.
We here.
That's it. Hey, but y'all weren't the only ones dealing with that too. Everybody was dealing with it. But I like looking at the folks that came out of, you know, the pandemic and everything and are ready to get back to it, because not everybody's ready. It's like, what did you do during the pandemic?
What did you do? What did you do? What did you do?
And that's the funny part, is the timing of it was crazy, and it did feel like a fucking long time that we were just stagnant. But Entitled dropped, pandemic hit, I started school, and then that's almost like the flip. That's when, you know, the upgrade a little bit. We needed that pause for a second to be able to come up with ego and to get ourselves to this point that, yeah, we can now confidently put on these shows and, you know, be out here like that. I don't know if it would have been the same had we not had that break.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Had we not had that little pause for a second to maybe reflect on what we had done, I went and got a little more knowledge and realized we had been doing shit completely wrong. We may not be where we're at right now without that little pause. So it sucked, man, because we do have to be out here now and like remind people, like we still here. I've been DJing this county since I was 15. Y'all know who the fuck I am. The homegirl last night, she's like, this was funny. She's like, you look so familiar. Where do I know you from? I was like, you went to Arcata High, huh? And she goes, yeah. And I'm like, you went to the little Accurate Productions dances? Yeah. I was the short little black DJ that was always up on stage. Oh my gosh, she lost her shit. I'm like, yeah, it's been 20 fucking years, 15 years. Yeah, I'm still doing the same shit. You know what I mean? But people forget. If you're not in their face with it all the time, that's why Asaad said we're on your ass now. It's not. If you get annoyed by it, good. If it bothers you, I'm doing my job.
But I'm so confident that it's not going to annoy you guys. It's just like, hey man, we're about damn time. You know what I mean? It's basically that mentality that you guys gonna have. I can call it right now.
Yeah. The response we got last night, like I said, it was different than we were expecting, I think, for a show. But when I take a look back at it, like I was telling you last night, for an album release, that's what we wanted, was people engaged and listen.
Sit back and just listen to it.
And that's exactly what they did. That whole front section, I think all those chairs were full.
Yeah.
Every seat somebody was sitting in, and everybody that was standing up, maybe a handful, like 10, 15 people standing up, were watching, but they were watching with their damn phones. That to me is, I'm in it. You know what I mean? They were so in it, they weren't trying to dance, they were focused. You know what I mean? And that's what we wanted. But it's different being on stage, because you want that, we feed off that energy. You know what I mean? It's hard to continuously put it out there and you're not getting anything back. People are just stoic looking up at you, and you know, it's hard. But
I still talk my shit. You guys as loud and bravado as I can.
No, that's what's up. Who can I ask real quick? Who was the sound dude last night?
James.
Okay.
Solid.
Yeah.
Probably one of the best sound engineers in the county, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
He does his thing every time we're in there, you know. That's the first time I worked with him as like, you know, the man of the show, so I was having to do a little extra with him, but yeah, dude, I've always, shout out to James, always knew that you were good at that shit, man, but yeah, probably one of the best in the county as far as that goes.
Yeah. It's this interesting thing where there's so few resources in this county when it comes to something like what we're talking about, sound people. You know, there's a line between good people, good sound people, and folks that you may be paying a little bit less to, and you hope you have a good event kind of thing. You know, and so I think it's important to like note the good sound people.
Yeah. No, and actually that brings up, I ran into Swizz in Arcata right before I came over here because I was walking to get my car, and he's like, dude, if you get a chance to see James, give him a high five and say thank you. And I was like, I heard what he did, because when our music came in, that low end was fucking heavy. It was so heavy. And I saw Swizz and Richard were over from Object Heavy.
Shout out to Object Heavy.
Yeah, shout out Object Heavy, my boys. He was like, me and Richard were over there, and Richard looked at me and was like, I can't hear their vocals because the bass is too high. And Swizz said, he turned to Richard and he said, give James a couple of seconds. And I heard when the adjustment was made, because that's what I was worried about during sound check. That's why I told Christian, hey, turn that fucking bass down on the turntables because it's gonna drown our vocals. I don't know if you hear me talk, folks, but my voice is mid bass, 120 hertz. And any kind of bass 808s frequencies, it gets drowned out. But you have to know that as an audio engineer, how you're gonna cut those vocals through the bass. And yeah, I guess Richard and Swizz, Richard was like, oh shit, like nobody can hear their vocals. And he was gonna go talk to James, and Swizz was like, nah, give James like 10, 20 seconds. And he dialed that shit in, dude. He dialed it in so quick, just on the fly, yeah. Didn't have to say anything, you know, sometimes you have to look out at the sound guy, like, hey, cut, you know, give him a little hand keep. We didn't have to do any of that. He knows what he's doing, and that dude is on point.
Yeah, we need that kind of quality in Humboldt. You know?
No, we absolutely do. Especially, you know, it takes the stress off of the artists and the DJs and everybody else involved. You know what I mean? It's a team game, team sport. You know what I mean?
You all are doing a lot as the artists, so everybody's got to be pulling their weight.
Right.
You know.
Right. Yeah. Shout out to ATL. I appreciate y'all for that, because
shout out to Tim.
Being able to rent a venue that's pretty much turnkey with the in-house security, you know, the lighting, the sound, the stage setup. I mean, that's hard to come by. You know what I mean? It's hard to come by these days. And the fact that we were able to just rent that out and use it like it was home, you know what I mean? Shout out to ATL. I love it for that.
Yeah. This county's better off with the ATL, the new ownership and everything like that's doing good. So
yeah, shout out to Tim. That's the same. Shout out to Tim.
Yeah.
It is great. Yeah. Yeah, that place was going downhill there for a minute.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the most popular places in the county right now, as far as, you know, they do all the wubby and electronic shows and the hip hop shows coming up there now. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. They're doing
that's the thing that we've been waiting for, because the previous owners was not very fond of hip hop at all, because
adios.
Yeah.
That's what we don't need in this fucking county.
Yeah. And the other thing too is, you know, we wanted to change that stigma of hip hop shows, especially I guess the last couple with the ATL ended up with a couple stabbings or some crazy shit.
Nobody was stabbed.
Listen, I just want to tell folks
during Main Street,
that was
we don't play that shit there.
You
the fuck?
No.
All right.
No. Mean Street is not. That's not what that means.
No.
No.
We're not running up on the ops, y'all.
That was actually one of
shit somewhere
the main concerns when we booked the show, and it made me really sad to hear that, because I talked to Tim. We were, you know, chopping it up about the venue, going over price, blah 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 blah, and he said, "Hey, I just want to make sure that this isn't going to end up with like some crazy stuff at the end of the night. You know, Humboldt's got a bad reputation for hip hop shows." And when he said that, I know what he meant. Like I said, I've DJed here since I was 15. I know I've seen my handful of stabbings and had those shows where I've hosted and that shit's happened, and then I feel responsible, and I just let them know, like, no, that's not.
And
that's
and
the
it's
complete
like
opposite of what we're trying.
Yeah,
to
not
do.
gonna hold you. If you have heard our music, we don't really entice those kind of emotions. Yeah, we know what I mean. We're not ultra aggressor, bang bang, get 'em. You know what I mean? Like we don't introduce that kind of energy that most, again, stereotypical mainstream bullshit rappers do. That's that, and people are conflating that with hip hop.
Right.
And it's like,
and I wish people understood the difference between rap and hip hop. I wish people really could understand the difference. Now it's so convoluted that, rappers rap on hip hop beats, and hip hop is a culture. You know what I mean? Has nothing to do with being a rapper. Hip hop is the culture. And I wish people more understood more of that. So when we say we're going to put on a hip hop show, and I get those questions like, since this is a rap show, there's not going to be any stabbings or shit like that. And that's why I was like, no, I got to draw that line, because this is not a rap show. It's not. We're not going up there to rap like. You know what I mean? This is
bitches shake your ass. Yeah, niggas shoot them niggas.
I know what type of shows you're talking about. I know what you mean when you say that. But this was a performance full of hip hop artists. There was not one rapper on stage last night. I hate that word. I hate that fucking word.
I hate it too.
just to be associated with a rapper, like, and that's why I always
like
say,
you drop one P on that word, it's just an A.B. Grosser. So like, don't put that on me, yo. Like,
no, and that's what I want. Like last night was full of hip hop artists and DJs, and that's what I wanted for the culture. That Mean Street vibe. That it's a get down. It's a block party. You know what I mean? We got MCs, we got DJs, we got musicians, we got, you know what I mean?
We get
breakdancers on the
I cannot believe we should both slap ourselves silly for not mentioning our host throughout this whole entire time. Chemistry with a K, ends with a tree. She hosted she did her fucking job. And she did it well. Best. Had the crowd all hyped up. Again, that's the vibe. You're not going to get that from a rap show. You will get that from a hip hop show. Another hip hop artist who understands the craft of showcase, performance, and just an all around good vibe. So shout out to Chemistry as well. Thank you for being part of that show.
That's how you know, like a show like Mean Street, we did what we wanted to do with it. You know what I mean? Because Chemistry's our girl. That's family. You know what I mean? I was saying. And that's another like hip hop artist. And for a hip hop artist to be asked to, hey, will you host this event, but not be a part of this event? Like you're not going to perform, but do you want to host? She was actually more excited about hosting, because she saw the potential behind it and the community behind it, and like, this is something different. She was like, I want to be a part of this. I want to host this. It was like we didn't even really have to ask. Once she saw the idea and heard like, hey, we kind of want to have you host, yep, I'm with it.
By hook or crook, she was going to be part of that show.
No matter what, you know what I mean? And that's what I wanted. I wasn't trying to throw
we even incorporated her in
people
our
on
set.
the show or not, you know what I mean? It was a whole idea. This took a lot of thought process behind it. And to make it a series and to make it continue, you know what I mean? There's going to be more artists. There's going to be different switch ups, like, maybe big break dancers at the next one. I was trying to get vendors in there for this one with the craft fair happening. It was Arts Arcade the night before. The craft fair today, the farmer's market, the likelihood of getting a vendor to come and set up last night for a couple hours was like, they weren't going to do that in between that and between Arts Arcade and the farmers market and the vendor fair tomorrow. Like, there's no way. So, but that was the idea, is to have some little vendors inside, like to really create this block party experience. Like you just walk down a back alley into Mean Street, like, you know what I mean? When you watch the Get Down and they go into that little back alley and it opens up and it's like this whole experience and this whole communal vibe. Like that's what I was trying to do with it.
That's dope. I want to see it. I know y'all are going to do it.
Yeah.
The next, in the series.
Yeah. And I want to get, if we can get Object Heavy on.
Object Heavy. There's a lot of artists, like especially based out in Eureka and again all the surrounding towns. that I want to get on as well. Like, there's people that you haven't even heard of from a long time. Like, let's not be bougie here. Like, give a shout out to Grow Boy Music, Sauce.
Oh, GBM, yeah.
Shout out to
they're doing the Tech Nine though.
Yeah, and Blow Some Entertainment. You know what I mean? Like, there's again, it's not a us against y'all. It's a collaborative effort. Like, I'm here to work with y'all niggas. You know what I mean? So,
however, whatever.
How about hook it quick, man? Like, again, take your ego aside, get your head out of your ass, and come get this work, man. Quit being scared now.
Yeah.
Don't be scared of growth. Don't be scared of growth, man. Don't be scared of learning something new and having a new experience and seeing somebody else do what you do, but in a different light, and maybe that will influence your art in a different way.
And be humble enough to know what you're not good at. You know what I mean? And that's like we were talking about earlier. That's where we complement each other. Because I know my lane. I know I'm not a writer, but I know I can produce some shit and I can send it to my boy who's a writer. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna sit here and fool myself and think, nah, I'm gonna make this song because I can do this. I'm not this whole thing. Like, and I've been asked that question.
Put me behind the computer, and I'm like, hey,
woo. And that's really what it comes down to. Is that's all we're saying. Is all these other artists out here, don't be big enough to think that you can do it all by yourself. You're not going to. You can't, and you don't have it all. You're not good at it all. I'll tell you that right now.
That's the interesting line between now, like we were talking on the highway episode, things have gone in the direction of you need to wear more hats. But it all has to go back to what you just said. You need to know what you can do, what you do well, and what you cannot do. Because if you try to do every single piece, produce, set up performances, book those performances, you know what I'm saying, all the other pieces to it, marketing, social media, all that shit. Like, you're not gonna be, maybe somebody is, but I haven't seen somebody that's good at all of it. You know what I'm saying? You may be okay at some of it, real good at some of it, but you gotta understand what you're not good at.
Jack of all trades, master of none.
That's exactly what it is.
Like, you can do like, I used to fancy myself as a jack of all trades, and I'm like, oh shit, that means I ain't gonna master nothing. Fuck that. So let me just like, all right, man, let's focus more in here. Let's focus more in here. Like, yeah, I could get on Fruit Loops and, you know what I mean, making little beat, but I know I'm not this motherfucker over here, or I'm not a Clue.
Shout out to Not a Clue though too.
So I'm like, I'm not those guys at all. So let me just abandon my little producer dreams, and let me just focus on, hey, I come up with some very, very clever rhymes. So let me just harp in on that and be a master of that, rather than me trying to like spread myself out where it hasn't. When I talk about reaching out and networking, like, yeah, I'm an approachable guy, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, I you know what I'm saying, very, very cordial with people and shit like that, but I'm no fucking manager, you know what I mean? So just like, I need to find somebody who can fit on that one. I'm a great performer. I can do that in my fucking sleep. Like, it's nothing to me. Recording, I need to amp that shit up a little bit more. You know what I mean? So just like...
And that's where we're at, like, with our whole process. As far as me and him goes, we're not afraid to talk about this shit.
Not at all.
I'm not a great performer. When it comes down to recording, I'm great at it. But that's because I spend my fucking life in a music studio. You understand me? And that's where we know, all right, you're a better performer than I am. I'm a better recording artist than you are. How do we make this shit work collaboratively?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's
how
we're
can we
saying.
strengthen each other's weakness.
All the other artists out here is like, you know, bitch, sit down and be humble. is you're not good at it all. And stop fooling yourself and trying to fool everybody else into thinking you're gonna do it all on your own.
Sit down.
You know, I can tell you off the top of my head and with 100% confidence and certainty that I wouldn't be able to do it by myself. I know he can't do it by himself. Like you just said, I don't know.
Like, we can try, but
we would not
get the same success.
I can't name one person that's great at all these things. You know, I know a couple
who's a
that are
master
good
at
at
everything. Nobody.
But nobody. There's nobody. So that's all it is the Humboldt hip hop community. It's not a competition. That's really all it comes down to. And I don't know why it continues to feel like a competition. That's bothered me my entire life.
Listen, man, let me make it clear right now, you goofs. It's no competition. Stop it.
Yeah.
You're being ridiculous.
Yeah. Who are you fighting with?
Flat. Who made you mad?
Who hurt you?
Who hurt you?
It wasn't us.
God damn.
Check your damn ego.
Yeah. I think a lot of the times, and to be real about it, I ain't saying no names because I ain't talking about anybody in specific, but I see a lot of artists out there, folks aren't always comfortable with their own work and their own craft, and that creates some insecurity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, everyone wrestles with insecurities. Like, everyone has their insecurities. It took me a long time to get over mine, you know what I mean? But it took a certain degree of self-reflection and self-acceptance. That's like what is the key thing to like kind of get over those insecurities. It's like, I accept the fact that I'm not that great at this, but I can also accept the fact that I can get better. I also accept the possibility that there's time to grow and, and improve myself to a standard where I'll be like, oh, I can't. So that insecurity has gone away. And then when you're dissolved of insecurities, you rid yourself of jealousy and envy. Mm-hmm. All that shit is purged out of your system because jealousy and envy is based on insecurity. Mm-hmm. Ego is based on insecurities. Mm-hmm. So once you address that and you kind of like, chip away at that, like, why am I so insecure about this? Well, let's talk about it. There must have been a time and a moment that traumatized you to the point that it was deeply rooted into your psyche and into who you are as a person. If you take that moment and you realize what that person said to you and you kind of understand like, oh shit, that had nothing to do with me. Because people have this terrible tendency, and I know this is super funny coming from me, but taking shit personal. You know what I mean? I know I told you like, hey, I'm Jordan, I take shit personally. Look, that just comes to this rap shit, all right? That's about it. But when it comes to like actual people and, when it comes to like being a human being, once you rid yourself of those insecurities, all the shit, like it was super easy for me to check my ego over the past couple of years because of the fact that like, my insecurities has kind of gone away and I accepted the fact that I am what I am. I'm at where I'm at. I look like what I look like. I'm where I'm at in life. Fine. I accept it. I'm in the present. I'm in the moment. I'm in the now. But I also accept the fact that my story's not ended. You know what I'm saying? My last breath isn't drawn yet. There's still a lot to go, a lot of work to do, and it's possible. Like Kevin Garnett said, I'm a Celtics fan. Anything is possible. It truly is. And shout out to the Celtics that we busted that ass. Fuck Atlanta Hawks, boy. Y'all lucky to win one game. but going back to what I was saying, just the insecurities that every artist feels or every person feels. You just have to understand those insecurities grown and stem from someone else's perspective and someone else's insecurities projecting onto you.
Mm-hmm. And the funny part is, especially with hip hop artists, how those insecurities are portrayed. You know what I mean? Could be, especially in that sense where it's like you said, an artist is uncomfortable or insecure with their own work, but they don't want that to be known. Especially in a community place, or especially when they put on a bill or a show, so it comes off as either cockiness or overconfidence, or you know what I mean. They can't be told anything about their craft because as soon as they're told something about their craft, it's gonna you're gonna poke at that insecurity, and they're gonna lose their shit, right? So they gotta put up this super wall of like, nah, my shit is untouchable. I'm the greatest thing on the planet as far as hip hop is concerned. But that's all based on insecurity too. Like I said, nobody's fucking great at everything.
And like in a moment of transparency, like for the longest time, I've had my insecurities about my voice. Every time I'm hopping on the track, I'm like, damn, my voice is too strong. It's too heavy. It's too loud. But then I'm like, damn, my voice is too strong. It's too heavy. It's too loud. Oh my God. Yeah. I would love, if I was somebody else, I would love to have this motherfucker. You know what I mean? So again, it's just like, that was someone else telling me like, yeah, man, you got bars, but it's just your voice is what you look like. All right, that's you. That's your brain. Like, I'm gone somewhere. Go somewhere. Like, all right, cool. Go listen to some soft ass Lil Baby or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Go do your thing. Go find whatever floats your boat. But this right here, if you want some strength, you want some empowerment in your life, and you need to hear that shit sonically, at your boy.
Yeah.
So again, it's like taking those insecurities and like really just flip the script and use those as like motivational tools to help you be better.
Those are the building blocks. I mean, when it comes really down to it, what you're insecure about is what you need to work on.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And you don't need to address it with overconfidence or cockiness or, you know what I mean? Nah, no, I'm insecure about that, so let's not talk about it. No, that's exactly what we need to talk about.
Exactly.
That's exactly what we need to talk about.
Yep.
You know?
Exactly.
That's shadow work, and nobody wants to do it.
Look at that shit. But that's what we're doing with our music. That's exactly what we're, you know, listening to our music. I want to feel like you just got out of a therapy session with yourself. Like, you know,
because again, we're talking about you.
Yeah, but that shadow work, like I said, is, you know, we're doing it. I'm doing it. I know I'm working.
I'm constantly
all the
doing it,
time.
man.
All the time. And we go through our shit. Like I said, me and this man got our own demons we battle with all the time. But at the same time, I don't
now
think
I'm playing
you can
spades
say
with mine. You feel me? I used to battle my demons. Now we playing spades.
You know?
Big Joker. Bow.
You know, I don't think anybody that knows me and you though over the last 4 or 5 years couldn't say there's been exponential growth.
No.
As far as, you know, personally in the music, in just what we've been doing all together.
Oh man, you met me like 5, 6 years ago.
God, we were messy, bro.
Yeah.
We were both messy.
Oh man, I was king petty. King, yeah, I'm gonna take that personal to the core. I'm gonna take the slices and be like, fuck you. I'm gonna do everything I can to get you back. But now I'm just like,
Let live now.
Yeah. It's like,
I think that's what the draw is though for y'all though. Because, well, not the draw, but one of the draws is that folks like watching the journey. At least for me, that's vested in music. You know what I'm saying? I listen to Entitled, obviously, of course, first, and then and Ego, and so I've listened to them, you know, in sequence. I'm sure everybody basically did, right? But you see, like you were talking about, you see the growth. You know what I'm saying? And you don't. It's not just sonically. It's with the bars. It's with the whole package.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the things that if folks would actually step out of themselves for a minute and look at where they needed to grow,
And be
you could
cool with it. Be comfortable with it.
Like funny story. All right, so there's a track called Vibe that's on Ego, right? And it took me a while for me to like really let it sink in. I didn't cuss in my verse. Not didn't once.
Actually, because I went back to make clean versions, and I went through that verse 4 times. I'm like, this is not.
Not one. I
Will Smith.
I
this
will
whole shit.
Smith the shit. And like, if anybody knows me, I got a mouth on me, boy. You can't every other word like a fucking sailor.
PG.
So I'm like, but not only it was PG, but it was hard as fuck. It was still lyrical as shit, and it still got to the point. It still delivered a message, and I didn't even need to do anything extra to it. And while I was writing it, again, like I'm a fucking AI generator. I'm just like, okay, this is a cool little cadence. Oh, this is a cool little bars right here. I wasn't even thinking like, not a damn, not a shit, not a fuck, not a nothing in here. Oh, okay, we can. This is a good one right here. So, but like you go back to Entitled, you know, I'm talking about shit in every single one. But like again, that growth, and it's just like that is like, oh, I can now write verses where I can just still be clean and still be hard as hell, and I don't need to do all that. So whenever, like, you know, say we are at a point in our careers that we're doing big business, it's like, hey, we need a clean, hard verse. Got you, because I know exactly what the reference point to go to, and I know I have a few more in the tuck just like it. So yeah, that was a growth moment for me as an artist.
Until about a month ago, because I was going back making clean versions because I was sending them to a DJ in Florida, and I was surprised as hell because I went back over that verse like 4 times. Like, he didn't fucking cuss.
Not a damn word.
I think I said shit in mine.
Yeah, that's about
That
it.
was one that I had to like just flip the sample.
And again, like, you know, and during like the hook in the bridge, but like, yeah, no, on my verse, I was like, that was a smooth, clean 24, and I'm just like, My God, Will Smith ain't got a fucking thing.
Yeah. Again, that's back to that control. Control of your sound, control of your music.
Yeah. No, and that's been the most important, the key to the lock, I guess, is not that I'm a control freak, but I want to make sure we've got control over our creativity. You know what I mean? I don't want to have to rely on someone else for something that we want to create. We've got an artistic vision, and all it takes is me and him sitting down and discussing what that vision looks like and how we can make it a physical representation of our vision.
And we're so like-minded. No, not even that true, but like we're so like-minded. It's just easy. Yeah, it's easy to do.
But other than that, there's no like extra people involved. There's no like executives or labels we got to jump through hoops and run ideas by. It's like, no, the two of us could sit down, have a conversation over an idea, and then we start building from scratch. And then the idea comes to fruition, and we, a month or two later, we've got a physical product from just an idea.
And folks, if you look at the writer's cred on each song on Ego, you'll only see two names.
Writers. Okay, let's just time out for a second, because Drake's last album had how many writers on it?
We're not going to go there. It's a lot.
2 writers, 1 producer.
That's all, folks. That's all it took.
That's all we need. That's all it took.
That's
doing too much.
Even on like name all kinds of albums, you don't see that.
You don't see that at all. Like, you know what I mean? Like there was this song that I heard by, I think it was like Sam Smith or something called Unholy. It was like it was like a topic with taboo because of during the Grammys or whatever. So I decided to check out the song. I'm like, hey, the beat's hard, you know what I mean? And I was like, all right, hold on, let me see who wrote. And I'm listening to the verse, and I'm like, all right, this is pretty pedestrian, like lyrics, pretty easy. I look at the writing cred. Oh my God. Why it took 8 people to write that?
That's crazy.
That's crazy. It didn't even seem like it needed 8 people to write that.
You remember when we were at Nautica's house and we were talking about that Drake song that had like 62 writers on it or some shit like that? And we're like,
I wrote the word "the." You write the word "fuck." You write the word. You write a bar here.
Write a song like that? Like, I understand you get in a room full of people and you go over the way a verse sounds and now let's change this and change cadence there. But I get that part. But it don't take that many damn people to write a verse.
Like, it doesn't. It really doesn't.
Not to throw shade at anybody.
Not to, but I'm just saying.
We got 2 albums out there right now, and then there's been a total of 2 writers, and on the last album on Entitled, 2 producers and a mix engineer. And now I mix engineer our own shit. So we cut 2 people out. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's just like, man, I don't know. That's crazy to me.
Yeah. It shouldn't have to be that hard, like you said.
And that just goes to show you who's a student of the craft and who's a student of the game.
True.
It just shows you the difference between the two. That's pretty much it.
That's a bar.
I was just saying, that's a bar right there. That's basically what it comes down to.
AI generated, right? This is me. Dog.
They need to start paying you for that AI shit, man. Have me behind the screen.
Hey, I'll smoke the AI generator. You can't see me on my worst day.
I know all these musicians out here worried about artificial intelligence trying to take us out. No, the fuck it won't. Not R.U.D.E music. We're not going nowhere.
We're too different. Like an AI generator is like,
I cannot recreate R.U.D.E music with an AI generator.
You can't do that.
It's not. So that's what I want. If our shit can be recreated, then it's mainstream.
Yeah, facts.
If a computer can regenerate it, it's too mainstream.
Yeah.
Nope. We're not doing it the right way.
That's not hip hop. That's not music. No, that's not.
That's why I'm not worried. Like, I just saw this little shit about Drake and the Ice Spice song in Drake's voice, and Drake is all mad. He's like, "It's the last straw." I'm like, change your music then. If it can be emulated by a computer, then change your music. You're doing it's too easy.
And fire all your fucking writers and get back to old Drake. How about that?
Yeah. Get rid of the 70 writers you got. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
I don't know why y'all scared about. I get it. I get the artificial intelligence thing. Even as like a physical artist, if you're a painter or an illustrator or something like that, I can get the threat by that. But if you're confident with your craft enough to know that, nah, my shit is unique enough that a computer can't make what's coming out of my brain, I'm sorry. I don't got nothing to worry about with artificial intelligence aside from the fact that shit might destroy humanity one day.
Yeah.
But as far as putting me out of a job, I'm not worried about that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's what sets y'all apart, that quality of sound. Y'all ain't just copycatting everything else.
No.
You know, and if you are, your AI's coming for your shit.
AI's coming for you. If you're scared about AI, we know how you make your music.
Right.
We'll put it that way.
Pretty much.
We'll put it that way.
Damn, fellas. Well, I know right now y'all just dropped Ego last month. We just had the release party. So, I mean, I'm not expecting y'all to have like, a move like tomorrow or nothing like that. But it sounded like y'all got a bunch of stuff in the clip.
Yeah, we're gonna drop a remastered project that fell way to the wayside, but we're gonna come back out with that featuring Honest.
Dope.
And hey, another birthday twin with birthday triplets.
Are you serious?
Yes.
I'm just finding this out right now. That's crazy.
So shout out to Honest. So we collaborated a long time ago. Did like a little 3-track EPs, but again. Fell to the wayside, so we're gonna remaster that now that he's in his bag and gonna make those sounds really pop and put those back onto major streaming platforms. Then we have a couple of songs in the tuck still after that, and then like I said, we're gonna drop a few songs seasonally, and then we're gonna drop another album featuring the kind of like songs and sounds that we would talk about earlier in the pod. So yeah, we have a few things in the tuck always You got to these days, but I like to leave room to like create things because again, I just pull bars and verses out of my ass when I'm just at the home, high as fuck, and I'm just like da 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 da. But like knowing that he has something new and something fresh, and he just send my way, that just sparks my shit all over again. I'm like, oh, so I always leave myself the time and the space to just like chill out. So when something new comes along, I can just go and do my thing. And then you get more things in the vault, more things in the tuck. And again, we do have to put out more content. I agree with that. But it's a fine line. We don't want to oversaturate you folks, but we, we ain't just sitting on our asses either. You know what I mean? So we definitely got some things in the tuck, man. But this is only the beginning. I felt like when this year dropped, when we dropped Vibe, and that shit kind of blew up. It's our most popular video yet so far. I kind of had the idea or the feeling like, oh shit, man, things is really gonna come around more often. I mean, people are going to, like I said, we on y'all motherfucking asses, all right? That's what we on. So, yeah. Long story short, I'm very verbose, by the way. We got y'all. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
That's the thing is like I was saying, I think I've told everybody, I even told you this. I probably said it on the podcast a little bit ago. We're going to do this shit anyways. It's a hobby. It's a full-time hobby for me. It's the only thing that brings me like therapeutic joy, outside of actually doing mental, like focusing and actually doing like some mental healing or work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can just put music on. I can go in the studio. I can play around. It gets me out of my funk. It brings me back to life. You know what I mean? So I'm going to do it anyways. We have a couple projects. Like I think probably maybe one more video off of Ego.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
And then
Cusco.
Yeah, Cusco. We're gonna do a video for Cusco.
Yeah. If there's any attractive ladies out there listening to the Hip Hop Humboldt podcast, please feel free to hit your boy up.
Yeah.
All right. Holla, because if you want to be in the next video, here's your chance to apply.
Yeah, like Asaad said, I always leave that room for creativity. I mean, something new is gonna come. When it comes, when it hits, I have no idea. Sometimes I'll go in the studio and I could spend a week, 2 weeks in the studio, and I just hate everything that I make. I just can't make shit. It's just no vibes. And then sometimes I'll go in there for 10 minutes that he knows, and I'll make Maybach feelings. And it's like, this is the hardest beat I've made in my life. You know what I'm saying? And it took me 10 minutes. So it just, when it hits, when it comes, it's always just unknown. I just know that it's, like Asaad said, we're on your ass now. It's not going to stop. You know what I mean? Now we've gotten it down to a process to where we're good enough that when they do come out, like, all right, we got a song. All right, cool. Let's get this song pressed, ready, mixed, mastered, released. Boom. Now it's out. You know, rather than just, oh, we got a song, but it's just an idea. Yeah. And now we got to figure out, all right, where are we going to record this? And then who's going to mix it? And, sounds shitty. We can't release it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, because
it's
like
streamlined now. It's once the idea's there, and we're like, yep, let's make a song out of it. You know,
and on the vice versa tip, there's some verse I be rehearsing and going through. I'm like, yo, this is a fresh 5-pack of ass. Get this. I be wanting to hit that delete button, but I'm like, all right, man, I may find a few of this motherfucker sometimes. So it's just like it's a process, but it got to the point now it's so automatic. It's just so automatic. So whenever something new or an inspiration or someone out there says something to me, and I took it personal. Got it ready. So it's like I always leave it time. You gotta leave things time. You gotta leave this space, and you know what I mean, to grow and to evolve, and just like, you know, let life inspire you. You know what I mean? So,
and that's where most of our music comes from, is life experiences, you know,
and
what I mean?
life events,
and real relatable life experiences, and that's why our music gets the response it does. I think because it hits people on that emotional level,
100%.
Because it's real, you know, real experiences. But yeah, like he said, you know, we let life happen. We get, you know, I've been going through some crazy shit the last few months. I'm sure he's got his own shit he's going through, but we feel those experiences, we live those experiences.
What do you talk about? I have been in a calm, serene, drama-free,
fucking utopia over here.
I'm quite the hero in a lot of stories these days, okay? What do you mean,
this sounds like narcissism.
Be a villain. I am not problematic, sir.
And it's funny how certain shit just goes down with certain people. Like, certain people attract a lot of drama sometimes and shit in your lives. You know what I'm saying? And like, certain people don't understand that. I see a lot of people that don't deal with a lot of waves in life sometimes. And I'm just like, man, like, whether it's from not having kids, from not having certain responsibilities, whatever it may be, like, there are a few people out there that are just kind of just cruising through that shit. I have no idea what that's like.
I don't know how to move like that either.
Like despite what I just said, like, I'm actually am quite a peaceful person. Like, I don't attract drama, but you know, again, you cannot help how someone chooses to perceive or react to you.
Exactly.
And what you do. The best thing that you can do is just stand on, like, I feel like I said this in the last episode that we did. Find your hill, know your hill, stand on it, and die on it if you have to. And people have a hard time with that because, again, it's a quote unquote ego clash. And my ego's not clashing with your ego. Your ego is trying to impose on my hill. And that makes me a bad guy when I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna move from this. I'm cool over here. What? No, you need to see things my way, and you need to come over here unless it makes sense, which 9 times out of 10 you're not. Sorry, bud. You know what I mean? So it's just like, again, like, you really, really have to know. You have to know yourself. You know, and you have to know what the hills you're on, and like, you know, again. Don't let other people's perspective or don't, whatever I'm saying or whatever he said, whatever David said on this podcast, if it influences you and it helps you, great. But we don't want to impose our thoughts onto you. We want you guys to be encouraged by it. You know what I mean? And it's a difference between encouraging somebody to see things your way and imposing your will for someone to see things your way, because it's not going to happen. Perspectives can change, but it's not gonna change by force. It's only gonna be changed by encouragement, and you know what I mean, and you doing your own thing, and finding your hill and standing on it. That's it. Simple.
Yep.
Well, I think David said it earlier too. We're not trying to tell y'all what to do. You know, that's not what it is.
We ain't your damn daddies.
No, but we're not shy about what we feel or what we see. You know what I mean? We will talk about that, and that's all this episode, this show's been. You know, and then that's, if people that know Asaad, that know myself, that's one thing they do know is when it comes down to it, we're gonna say what the fuck we feel. You know, we're not shy about that. If we gotta say something out, we're gonna say something. You know,
and I'm a real life Facebook question. I'm gonna let you know what's on my mind. I will tell you what's on my mind.
Yep. Yeah. And he's more inclined to do that. You know, more often. I'm a little bit more reserved with it, but when it comes down to it, we're not gonna be shy about how we actually feel about shit. Mm-hmm. So yeah, like I said, I hope we didn't throw any shade on anybody.
No. They may perceive it that way, but that's on them.
Yeah, exactly.
Consequences be damned.
Like I said with the music and the production, if I got an emotional response for you, my job's done. I'm out. Mm-hmm. How you respond to it, that's on you.
Right.
So,
yep.
If they heard me, if you feel bad about it, I'm sorry, but I'm really not sorry.
Consequences be damned. That's just been my motto right now. That's my new motto right now. Consequences be damned. I'm gonna let you know what's going on.
Well, there's not enough people, like you said, standing up for what they believe in and trying to stand on that hill. There's not. There's a lot of wishy-washy shit nowadays. That's why we don't have people. That's why we don't have. And again, I'm not talking about anybody in specific, but that's why we don't have that critical mass. You know what I'm saying? We need people to say, okay, this is dope. Let's come out for this Humboldt hip hop shit. You know?
Absolutely. But it's just like
easy too. But
I know.
I mean, you can lead a horse to the water, right?
Yeah.
And so it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm trying to figure out what is that horse thinking while it's looking at the water. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, am I drinking myself? No, you're drinking fucking water just because it's reflective and it's making you face yourself. But you take that, you got to drink that, you got to take it in so you can nourish yourself and replenish yourself. You know what I mean? That's the whole point of the fucking water. But hey, we can only do what we can do.
But you can only lead them there, right?
Yep.
That's the only thing you can do.
Only lead them there.
That's so you want to look stupid in the face, go ahead. That's all you.
Shit.
Hey, I wanted to make sure while you're here,
yes, sir,
you get a plug for your for the radio show and the pod.
Oh yeah. So yeah, over the past, I want to say, few months and stuff like that. You know, like we had the start of the R.U.D.E podcast was supposed to be like a break because again the pandemic happened and there was no way that we can like, you know, connect with the audience and let them know the background of each song and each story and whoop-de-whoop. So that kind of came to an end because, you know, of some weird bullshit. But then like I got the opportunity, shout out to Humboldt Hot Air. They kind of reached out and said, hey, if you want, you could do a radio show. So I'm like, all right, let me get in my little DJ bag real quick. I know some slaps. Nigga, TRAAC ain't the only one who can do this, man.
Yeah.
So I kind of took that slot and say, they was like, you can do whatever you want with it. I'm like, okay, cool. There's going to be some nights where I'm going to play DJ. But there's going to be some nights where, like, hey, I'm going to invite some people over. We can have a conversation and record it and live on air and put it on the podcast platform as well. So it's just like, so now it's at the point where it's a conjunction. Like I do a little bit of both. So, you know, yeah, HumboldtHotAir.org, R.U.D.E hours, Saturdays, you know what I mean? Saturday nights we're going to be live, but the pod is going to be dropping that following Sunday. And yeah, so you guys tune in. It's on every platform, you know. The R.U.D.E podcast is super easy. It's like, think Full House. How rude. Podcast. Boom.
And it's a dope pod. There's things that are talked about on that podcast y'all need to hear.
Yeah. You think I talk my shit now on here? Yes. Boy, I no.
Hey, I remember the episode. I was in there twice, man. I remember what y'all get into. Man.
Yeah, like we get into like, but we do talk about music because again, I am a lover of music. That's like my bag, but there's life events that we cannot help but to ignore because of the consequences it has to society and the impact it has to society and how it really, really affects people's mentality. So what I aim to do is like, you know, find an entertaining way. It's an entertainment pod, you guys. Don't, please, I can't stress that enough because I'm talking way too much shit on there for it not to be an entertainment pod. So right. It's an entertainment pod for sure. And you know what I mean? We just talk about what's going on in the world, what music we listen to, what's going on in our life, how, you know, to kind of like, again, challenge your perspective because your perspective is never challenged. it's not going to grow.
It's never going to change.
It's never going to change. And that's one of the key components of life. Your perspective will always change throughout life. So that's why, that's what I do on my little podcast. I just go off the wall, sometimes, and just like, hey, this is how I'm feeling. But then I have people in there, it's like, kind of disagree, you should do this. I'm like, all right, cool. All right, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, literally, folks can hear that growth right on the
spot. So I encourage people to follow that platform if you want to. But hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, all love and respect to this platform though, because every single episode that I've heard on here, man, I hear some shit. I do hear a lot of great stories. A lot of I get a deep like a look into the artist who has been influencing the culture around here for longer than I thought was possible. You know what I mean? Like when I first got into Humboldt, there was really no hip hop scene. And I'm thinking like, oh, this is dead. Like, and then it wasn't until the Not a Crew thing. I'm like, now we stopped. We got this going on. But then you did your fucking homework. And it's like, it goes a little deeper than before you got here.
It goes back. Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit. So just hearing these stories, like hear Johnny Angel's story, hear R.U.D.E's story, hear Brian Swift's stories, Nat's stories. Yo, so salute to you for doing your motherfucking job, man, for real.
Hey,
for real.
It's all for the culture, man.
Exactly.
I love what y'all are doing. I love hip hop, but number two, this is this weird rural place with a lot of dope ass hip hop here.
Yeah.
And so that's something that's different. There's something about that, it's like a je ne sais quoi thing.
Yeah.
And when people pick up on that, man, it's gonna make somebody pop again, like you said.
It's undeniable. Like, you always think about hip hop and where these artists that do blow up and do come out of these places, it's always like inner city somewhere. There's a lot of people around. They had a good community, neighborhoods. They had a little clique they ran around with, you know what I mean? And you could see how that would happen. Out here, I don't know if a lot of people know what Humboldt County looks like if you're just listening, but if you're out here, you know what it's like out here. You can't just run around the neighborhood and like with your friends, like you gotta hop in the car and drive to your neighbor's house. Like everything's pretty spread out and very rural, and you know what I mean. People like to be in their house and mind their own business, and it's a lot different. But trying to build hip hop culture out of that, like you said, is if successful, is gonna be undeniably beautiful. Mm-hmm. But it's so much harder than just being in the inner city, being able to, let me ride around town and bump this brand new song, let everybody on the block hear it. Maybe it'll pop off. That's a little bit different than out here where we actually got to put in the work. But you got to put in the work by building the community. And that's why I love this Humboldt podcast. The Humboldt Hip Hop podcast is because that's right in line with what we're trying to do, is build that whole community back together. And I love seeing, like you said, with Knack and Johnny Angel and doing the homework from Humboldt, like this is my home. This is where I grew up. I've been around all these dudes my entire life. I grew up going to potluck shows, and then, I know James Boy, who used to perform with Potluck. His mom owns the hair salon down here. I was in there like 6, 7, 8 years old talking with James, and then I started DJing. Like, I grew up in this shit. This is my home, and I wanted to be, I wanted to look successful. I know the competitiveness, and it's only keeping this place fucking stagnant. It's only keeping the artists here. And that's fine if you want to be locally famous. But I know not one of us wants to just be Humboldt famous. Yeah. You know what I mean? We're trying to get outside of this town. And this is the type of shit that it takes, is building that community and promoting that community.
And not only to like get out of this town, but to get out of this town while promoting this town at the same time. While promoting
this town, yeah.
Have Humboldt County be known for something other than weed.
Well, and that's what I was getting at earlier, is what do we want that to look like? Say somebody does pop up out of here, and then that spotlight comes back around, and all right, let's check out what's in Humboldt County then. And all they see is fucking open fields and weed. And there's no hip-hop culture, community, and the hip-hop that is out here, everybody's doing their own thing. Nobody's doing shit together. And like, well, fuck that then.
Yep.
It doesn't sound like a cool place to me.
Yeah,
nobody's going to support that. You know what I mean? But if somebody does pop off and they turn around and look at Humboldt and they see this strong ass hip hop community behind it.
You never know what kind of acts that's going to attract.
Doors open up
and what kind of like, and it's bigger than that. Not like you say, like someone blows up from Humboldt County. Like say Highway makes it, or R.U.D.E makes it, or we make it, right? And now Humboldt County is in the map, and they come in to see Humboldt County. They see this strong collective hip hop community and culture. That's going to attract acts from all over the globe.
That's what I'm getting.
To base their shit here, make this scene bigger, and attract more people from outside, nationwide or global wide to come see shows here that will increase the local revenue. I'm playing chess, not fucking checkers with you goofs.
No, that's exactly it. That's exactly what I'm getting at.
I'm just saying, like it's so simple once you pull your head out of your ass
and
and
where
your ego.
Where it's at is like the platform is so big and empty, and it's not being used the right way. And it's for 15 years since I started DJing, all it's done is make me mad. Because I've been trying, and for some reason, people got it stuck in their head that they got to do it on their own. And it's got to continue to be competitive. Even when I started DJing, and I was DJing with Accurate Productions. Shout out to Accurate. This is no shade, but Ben was always trying to compete with me. I'm like, dude, we're on the same stage together, putting on one show. Like, why do you need to go after at a certain time so your set is better than mine? Or like, that's not a fucking competition. It's always been some shit like that. And I'm like, y'all, this is whack. This is whack. It's got to change because the platform we got here, if y'all can't see it, you're not looking at it. But if you're looking at it, you could see that something's bound to happen here. And when it does, it needs to fucking look right. It needs to happen right. Otherwise, it's going to fuck it for all of us.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because we're not going to get that second shot. If it does pop off and they come and look at Humboldt and it looks like a 5 fresh pack of ass, they're going to be like, all right, we're not going back there then.
Yep.
I need that phrase to be coined. I need everybody out there to start saying that shit, okay? I don't care about the credit. Just start saying it for me, please. If something is distasteful or displeasing to you, just say, hey, yo, this shit's a fresh 5-pack of ass, okay?
That's it. I don't want to buy, but I'm gonna take it.
Hey!
We gonna spread it.
It's
my gift to y'all. It's my gift to y'all. You're welcome.
Another gift y'all doing is making dope hip hop tracks, doing all kinds of level of sound work. So when folks think in their mind, they see this media kind of like reinforced scarcity I was talking about, right? Like make sure you understand there are people out there you can work with. You can go see Juice and go record at the Juice Box. You want some beats, you go talk to TRAAC. You need some other sound work, you go talk to TRAAC. People have to know what resources are out there so they don't, because what I see a lot of is I can't believe how many people have spent so much money setting up their own like recording booth. And I get it because there's Bongo Boy, there's Juice Box, there's Jada Sarge, there's a few well-known spots, but there's only a few. And so when people see that, I don't know whether it's, I don't want to pay to go. Juice ain't charging high,
that's
rate.
40 bucks for a session for an hour?
I hate
that's
that.
Nothing.
That's nothing. That's really
nothing.
nothing. And I hate that. I really hate that. Like, I don't want to, like, if you are trying to...
And shout out Juice for that, by the way, because that's a steal.
That's
Any artist out here that needs to record vocals,
that's
high quality vocals for $40 for an hour, hit that man up. He's giving you a fucking deal.
And it's just like, if you're not going to take or do what you want to do, if you're not going to take this hip hop thing seriously, you have to know one thing for sure. You're going to have to invest. You're going to have to spend some money. You're going to have to spend some fucking money. Quit trying to cut corners. Quit trying to do the bare fucking minimum. Because bare minimum effort is going to get you bare minimum results.
Quit being scary, acting like you don't have those resources. You know what I mean? What I don't, I mean, maybe it's my attitude, maybe it's the way I come across to people. I don't know why y'all haven't hit me up for audio shit. I've been doing this for half my life, and most of these people know this. And it's like when I mention that shit, it's half the time it's crickets, and then they're like, "Oh, you do audio production and shit?" Yeah. I've been.
I love how they act like they don't.
Like they don't know. Like,
get
the fuck
Like even last night, they was like, I didn't know you rap like that. Like, bitch, I've been promoting my music for fucking years. How you not know?
I didn't know you didn't pay attention to shit. Like,
That's it.
I did not know your head's
that.
been so far up your ass. Sorry,
Yeah,
my bad. Yeah, that's crazy.
You've not watched
Look at us, both not knowing shit. Fucking stupid in the face.
That's it. And that lack of wanting to put the energy into what you're doing in the community is a part of why we haven't reached that critical mass. So if folks start to actually take this shit serious, like you said, you got to spend some money. If you want to spend $500 and go get some fucking pallets from the side of somewhere and build your own little recording studio and everything like that, and spend the time on that, and it's still not going to sound as dope as you're going to sound at the Juice Box, do what you're going to do. But you need to make sure you know and give respect to Juice for what he's doing for the community.
Exactly. 100%. And that's, I will put this out there right now, some of the highest quality vocal recordings you're ever going to get, not just locally. That's off top. 100%. He is great at what he does. And for $40, you can go in there for an hour and record whatever the fuck you need. You better stop playing with him. You know what I mean? He's giving you such a deal right now.
Yeah.
Hey, I ain't gonna hold you, Juice. If you listen to this episode right now, raise your fucking price.
That's it.
That's it right now, boy.
Start
charging accordingly, my boy. Nah, man.
Hook me up, but charge everybody.
I said, I'll take the $40.
I'll take the 40, but charge everybody else.
Sure.
Up your ticket, bro.
Nah, man. Yeah, and I'm proud of that. Like I was talking to him last night before the show. You know, before I moved out to Reno, I was working towards that. We were working over at Not a Clue Studio, and Lance was never really the guy to run, like take his studio and run with it like a business like that and make it open to the public and have people come through for sessions. I wanted to, and that's kind of what I was building that Track Star, you know, the Track House. But I ended up moving to Reno. And then once I moved, I was like, damn, dude, I really was like on Lance's ass a little bit, like keep doing music. And he kind of fell off with it because I was his motivator. I would just go over to his house every day and like, what we do? Like, we're in the studio, let's make something, you know? But without that, he doesn't, it's not for him all the time, you know what I mean? But I was super excited to see when Juice opened up the Juice Box studio, and I was like, all right, dope. And then I started to see it build and build. Now I see that people coming through there. I'm like, that's exactly what the fuck we needed. You know what I mean? But give that man his flowers. Don't take advantage of that shit. Because he's giving you such high quality work for a very, very low price. There are producers and engineers out there that are charging 10 times that amount for the same quality of work. So look at the resources that you got, folks, in front of you, and stop playing with them. Stop acting like they're for granted. You know what I mean? Yep. That's all I got to say.
It's true.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, shit, fellas. Any other bars or gems y'all want to drop for them? Because I know, I mean, this whole episode was nothing but. I know when folks watch this, they're gonna be like, man, like I'm just blessed to have y'all getting all this on the pod, because this is the type of content. Again, like what you're doing on your podcast. There's not anybody doing that out here, talking about the culture and shit like that. There's some DJs and shit like that. Shout out to, I fuck with Goldilocks heavy and everything like that. But what I'm talking about is like that back and forth conversation, like the Drink Champ style. You know what I'm saying? Like there's nobody else doing that around here, at least that I've seen.
You know, exactly. And basically, like kind of what I'm kind of taking it as is just like, like him. I can't help but to be different. Like, you know what I mean? I can't help but to do it. So it's just like, you know what I mean? And fortunately with the radio station I'm working with, there's a lot of other shows, radio shows, podcasts that do their thing too. They're not talking about the things that I'm talking about. You know what I mean? They're not, I don't, no shade, no hate, no nothing, do your thing and all that stuff. But it's just like, I'm kind of taking my inspiration from just like my own brain. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, what would I want to hear and what do I want to listen to if I was a consumer? I want to hear some real shit. I want some people being vulnerable, transparent, not playing pod games or pod politics. You know what I mean? Not doing any of that bullshit. Tell me what's on your mind for real. And that's the kind of environment that and you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, it's not just me. This is very much his platform as well as it is mine. You know what I mean? It's a co-owner, you know what I mean, of everything R.U.D.E does or I do. I make sure this motherfucker's involved one way or another. But like when it comes to the How R.U.D.E podcast, it's just like, again, I want to open the door of transparency, vulnerability. It's okay. You're not perfect. Whatever you're saying is not going to be perfect. Whatever you're saying will be subjected to criticism. You know how much blowback and hate I've gotten back? It's the most. It's been insane, but it's been such a fucking joy just to know, like, hey, I'm getting that reaction out of you. Mm-hmm. So it's just like, you know, when it comes to like, you know, life gems and, you know, what I'm doing with the platforms I do, I just, again, I make sure that I express my perspective and my mindset and hopes and encourages people to better themselves. Because that's something that I'm constantly trying to do day in and day out. I wake up every day. Here's my routine. I wake up every day. I take a deep breath and I get off the bed every 1 step, 2 step. Thank you. I show gratitude first. Then I meditate, think about how I'm going to improve today and how I can share that improvement to encourage somebody else to do their own improvement. Because there's not enough of that going on, especially up here. Everyone is so content with their mediocrity. Mm-hmm. They don't want to improve. That's not how life is supposed to be lived. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, you're not going to be perfect. No one is, but you can always improve. Mm-hmm. Always. So that's basically what I like to introduce to my platform. And yeah, it gets silly. It gets goofy. You know what I mean? We have fun. And again, that's a part of life as well. But the point, I make sure the point always is clear and concise as it possibly can be. And it's like, hey, you know what I mean? This is a platform. If you want to hear some real shit, come on in. Mm-hmm. Sit down, get you a blunt, get you a drink. If you're at work, you're tired of hearing the people around you, coworkers getting on your nerves and all that shit, bosses riding your ass, fuck you, I'm gonna put these headphones in and I'm gonna hear some real shit by my guy Asaad over there on the How R.U.D.E podcast. So that's basically what I've been doing on there. And as you know, you've been on there a couple of times, man. It's just a vibe over there. Mm-hmm. Yep. You know what I mean? And it's just like all this stuff that people heard on this platform is just a small taste of what really goes on in this head of mine. And it's like, and people want to know their artists. That's mainly the reason why I started this podcast. Because if people want to know, like you're gonna. People know Eminem's story, but they don't know Eminem. People know 50's story. People know the artist's story, but you feel better when you know them. You feel more connected when you know them. Mm-hmm. And that's why I do the whole fucking podcasting. So yeah, you want to get to know me, hear the growth, hear the constant changes and progression. Just keep up with your boy. Once you see me up here, you'll be like, damn, I remember this motherfucker was way down there. Mm-hmm. And now he's up there. And it's all recorded and tracked. Mm-hmm.
So it's connected and talked about. That's the one thing that I think is most important with how we present ourselves just in general is the acronym of R.U.D.E stands for real, uncut, descriptive, and emotional music. And that's how we approach everything. Is like I said earlier, we're not shy about sharing this shit. You know what I mean? We're not shy about putting out an album like Entitled, knowing that shit sounded garbage compared to what's supposed to sound like. You know, we weren't shy about that. We were cool with it because that's part of our process. That's part of the growth, like you said. And like he said, people like to know their artists. I want you to know who the fuck we are. I want you to see what we do. I want you to be involved in it so you feel like if we do get up there, you came with us. You know what I mean? And you got to see the ride. You got to be with us for the ride. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's not just we need you to help us get up there. No, we're trying to build something that we can all get to, you know? Mm-hmm. It's a little bit different. So, no, I feel what you were saying, bro.
Yeah, that's what he said. Like, we're not shy about like even if it sound like garbage. Like there's some things, you know what I mean? Like again, I'm a nitpicky person, so there's some shit on ego and entitled. I'm like, oh, I just want to like erase that from everybody's brains, but it's out there because I'm not shy about it, and to kind of help people get out of their shyness is because of their insecurities. They don't want to show or reveal their weakness, right? But it takes a very, very strong person to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So in everyone, but that's a crazy thing. Everyone has that potential strength to reveal their weakness and be like, all right, here it is. World's but what's that going to do? It's going to harden it. It's going to strengthen it, and that weakness is going to become a strength.
Mm-hmm.
So like again, it's a relationship of energies. It's a relationship of like of who you are and who you can be. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yep. I want to make sure too. I say, and I'm not, of course, not comparing the pods, but what I'm going to say is something that's different is I want to make sure folks understand that it's more difficult to do what Asaad is talking about here and making himself vulnerable and talking about these topics that make a person listening even step into some vulnerability. That work is more difficult than just simply like, just for instance, what this podcast is doing. Because I'm, interviewing is one thing and everything like that, and I'm getting artist stories out there. But what you're doing is, for the lack of a better term, that shadow work.
Yeah.
You're showing people that shadow work, and you're getting them to do that shadow work. That's a whole different level from just like creating a platform to get some stories out there.
Yeah, and it's like, but it all comes with its trial and errors, because let's not get it twisted. I do say some very, very wrong things, you know what I mean? And it's like, it's not a secret, but it's just like, who's always right? Like, no one is always right. No one's always going to say the right thing. And like, people got this weird fucking obsession with control and perfectionism by like being perfect and shit like that. It's a farce. It's a pipe dream. You know what I mean? And like one of Drake's 80 Riders said, you gotta pipe down. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know which one of his 80s Riders said that, but you're gonna have to pipe down. How much do I have to spend for y'all to pipe down? You know what I mean? So basically, when it comes to like my platform and just like being open and transparent, and like it's vulnerability, but like I want to harp on transparency. That's basically like my thing. Like, yes, I'm being transparent,
and that's the whole thing. Is like I said, we're not shy about sharing shit. It's just being transparent, being open about what we're feeling, how we're feeling. You know what I mean? The whole process. We're trying to involve everybody, and it's that shadow work, that we do on ourselves, but it also makes people take a look back and like, why are they able to do that so openly, confidently, comfortably? Because we put in that work, but we also are trying to help y'all. like you said, that subliminal shadow work, and we're trying to bring you along with this. You know what I mean? Be open, be transparent. You know what I mean? I've been dealing with bullshit lately about people being open and transparent, and that's all I ask for. You know what I mean? I can take shit on the chin. I can move forward and move onward and move upward and continue to do my thing. But only if you're open and honest with yourself first, then you could be open and honest with me. You know what I mean? And that's the whole thing, is we got to really take a look at ourselves. And I think a lot of the times our communication's crazy, because people will be like, how are you even friends? You don't talk. You know what I mean? Like my girl before was like, do you talk to us all on the phone? I'm like, probably not in like 4 or 5 months. Wow, like we texted back and forth a couple times. He's like, isn't that your best friend? Like, yeah, but I don't gotta talk to him like that.
Tyler, how was your day?
Oh
my God, what did you eat for lunch? Like, no, we don't need to do all that shit. That's
but it's because we both know where we're at mentally and spiritually. Is like, if he's got to reach out, or he's going to reach out for something, he's going to reach out for something. And he knows I'm going to respond. You know what I mean? But on the back end, I know he's good, because he's always doing that work for himself, and he's open and transparent when it comes to it. If he's got a problem, he's going to tell me. I don't got to go, hey, you good? You feeling all right? He's going to be like, hey, I got a problem. I'm not feeling good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's hard to get to that level of comfortability of where you're able to just say, hey, nah, you know what I mean? Be open enough, honest enough with yourself to, it's been a journey. But I think where we're going with it is eye-opening for a lot of people, especially when they see us up on stage. And You know, the theatrics behind it, but also the messages behind it, like the Sermon of Arrogance. I heard people cracking up. They were laughing at that shit.
That shit was fun.
It was hella fun. And it was funny as shit how we acted it out.
Yeah.
But if you're listening to that whole sermon is just addressing your own ego. You know,
and arrogance.
Your arrogance and how it destroys all this opportunity. It's not because we're up there acting arrogant.
Yeah.
we're acting this out, and including the theatrics, to make it look like you're watching your own ego, your own arrogance up there on stage, dancing around, doing this crazy shit. You know what I mean? We want you to see it like that. We want you to address it like that. So
I think anybody listening definitely is. Yeah. I mean, I'm not speaking for everybody, but if you hearing it, yeah. And you can always take the quick way out and just say, like you're saying, like, oh, these gents are coming from arrogance or whatever like that. That's the quick way out. You're not even listening.
Not even listening.
Yeah.
And that's the funny part. And I love the titles of a lot of the songs, but especially the titles of both projects, Entitled and Ego. Somebody that's going to read Entitled, like, I'm not listening to this. This is going to be full of a bunch of songs about these dudes talking about how important they are. You know what I mean? Ego, I'm not listening to an album named Ego. What the fuck? This is going to be dudes talking about themselves the whole fucking time. It's the complete opposite. Complete opposite.
We're talking about you.
You know? We're talking about addressing that sense of entitlement and how you address your own ego and how we all should kind of do that open shadow work. And yeah, so if you're actually listening to it, you'll pick it up. If you're not listening, you'll get the message we want you to get. Which is rude as hell. You know what I'm saying?
That's how you set them apart. You'll
exactly.
Gotta set yourself apart.
And that's where it all started. You know, the word rude is heard as what's rude? You know what I mean? It's taken as offensive, but if you break down that acronym by what we're meaning, it's something completely different. It's so subliminal.
And it kind of teaches people to, like, you know, don't take things at surface level.
Yeah, read between
read between the lines, think a little deeper, dig a little deeper. That's when, like, when someone wants to spaz out and give me smoke about something I said or whatever the fuck, I'm like, instead of taking it personal, I'm like, I'm trying to wonder, what was your emotional reaction while I said that? And what did I say to trigger that shit? And how can we fix that trigger? It's deeper, it's levels to it. You know what I mean? So it's like, in that thought process, imagine if more and more like-minded people adopted it, and embraced it. Who knows what kind of world this would be? Who knows? When people take a second to pull their head out of their ass and look around. I said that shit so many times throughout this episode. Please get the message. And just look around and be like, oh shit, it's bigger than me.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. I think it's, folks just lose sight. It's so easy to lose sight and just kind of get lost in what's easy.
Yeah, the easy route, man. People, because real quick before we head out, like, I was told by my mom, like, there's two paths in life you can always choose to take. Two roads, actually. The smooth road, but hey, man, things gonna be great, easy, fun, smooth sailing. But when that road gets a little rocky, you're gonna lose yourself in it. If you take that rocky, rough road, shit's gonna smooth out towards the end. My life has been nothing but roughness and rockiness, but now it's starting to smooth out because of the fact that I doing a lot of the work. I'm doing the work. And it's just like, and it's not for everybody to see. The results of my work is for me. It's not for y'all.
Crazy part is it may not even be the road that smooths out. You're just learning how to drive it and navigate it better.
Probably
but
so.
If you do that shit the other way around, you start on a smooth road and that shit ends up rocky.
You don't know what to do.
You've been used to driving a smooth road the whole time. Now you don't know what to do. Now you don't know how to operate. You don't know how to drive, right?
Yeah.
You already been driving rough the whole time. When that shit smooths out, now we're coasting. Now we're coasting. Cruise control.
You actually enjoy it.
You enjoy it.
You can enjoy the ride.
You can enjoy
so just like, and again, like I think about who I was at 23 then versus who I am at 33, and and I'm going to see who I'm going to be at 43 versus who I am now. It's going to be different stages. It's going to be a different road. It's definitely going to be a different road. And it's just like, but I know how to navigate through rough roads. But like when that smooth road, boy, I'll tell you, I'm gonna be I'm gonna have my arm out the window, sunroof down, we good. You know what I mean? So it's basically, it's all about your choices and how you choose to navigate and how you choose to perceive things, honestly.
Yep.
Just be more rude, folks. That's it.
Yeah, be real. The fuck? We're being a goof. Looking all stupid in the face.
Hey, thanks, y'all. I really appreciate this one. This one, hey, you know, I'm a content guy. This is gold.
Hey, man, it's an honor and a privilege. We are
Appreciate
so happy.
Yeah, I'm glad I got the opportunity. You know, I'm not out here very often, so it was cool being able to come, be able to do this on top of, you know, the show. It worked out perfect.
Yeah,
so
I appreciate y'all for that too.
Yeah, I appreciate you for having us. Like I said, I know it's been in the works, but I'm 7 hours away, so it's like, yeah, I'm gonna get there. But
yeah.
No, this is great. I'm happy you had us.
And you guys are welcome back anytime. Like, you know, whenever the next project is coming.
Yeah.
Got you. We know where to go. We know exactly where to go.
Yeah.
And hey, I need you back on another episode too.
Hey,
man.
I'm definitely down for that.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
We're going to have to make sure they know about the Mean Street series. Keep that on your radar.
Yes. And please follow us on R.U.D.E Music ENT on Instagram. And hey, follow the How R.U.D.E podcast page on Instagram at the How R.U.D.E podcast. Let me see. Follow us on Spotify, Apple Music, all the things, so you can listen to the projects yourself. And hopefully it encouraged you guys to think about some things. You know what I mean? Feel about some things. And that's us, man. It's how we do.
Yeah. Mixing, mastering, audio, whatever y'all need. TRAACStar.com. That's TRAACSTAAR. Hit the website. The shop's on there, so you can get all our merch from there. I'm trying to make it easy for everybody to find.
And I ain't gonna hold you. We need help with the bar too. Got the AI generator right here. You know what I mean? Slide y'all a little something on the slide. You know what I'm saying? Don't give me no writer's credit, man. Don't do that, man. I don't want to get on that though. You can have that shit.
Hey, that's dope though.
Yeah, no, seriously, I feel like when it comes to like writing, that's super ego driven. Like a lot of people don't want to accept, help on that aspect, but some help might be like we give Drake shit, but like no, if he had like a third or fourth writer, cool. This nigga had fucking 1680. That's egregious. It doesn't take that. But you know what I mean? Like no, it's just like again, my talents or my product or anything is available to y'all. You know what I mean? I put myself out there to y'all for a reason, not to be arrogant and exclusive about it, but to be open, transparent, and sharing about it.
That's what it is right there. Yeah. If there's anything with myself, with Asaad, with R.U.D.E music that resonates with y'all, it's not exclusive to R.U.D.E music. If you want our help with something, if you want audio production, if you need mixing, mastering, recording, whatever, we're trying to help out. Like we do this shit for ourselves because we're going to do this shit for ourselves, but it's not exclusive to R.U.D.E music. If you like something we're doing and you want help doing that, let us know. We're not exclusive. We got our R.U.D.E music shit. You can't have that. No, that's not how this game is played. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're not complete assholes.
All the time.
Nah, y'all give a fuck about the scene. It's very obvious.
Yeah,
y'all care.
Yeah. I just care about hip hop in general. And what's going on, like the way I've been seeing the hip hop culture, and this shit kills me now. It kills me now. I grew up in hip hop, like we all did, dude. And like what I see now is just trash. It's trash.
It's a fresh 5-pack of ass.
And the fact that it's been changed and nobody's trying to change it again is like, that's bothering me a little bit. Nobody's like actively putting in the work to try to, let's make this better or make it. Nah, they're just cool with it being fucking ass.
Yeah, everybody just cruising in their own lane.
Yeah, like you said, and stuck on cruise control, and everybody's just cool with being fucking cool, I guess.
Yeah.
And we're over here like, no, fuck that. This is garbage. Somebody's got to do something with it. Like, And we got, like I said, there's so many dope hip hop artists and musicians and just artists here in general that there's no way we can continue to let this shit just go. by the wayside. Like, that's ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous to me. To have this much talent in a small town and everybody's competing with each other here, like, y'all are being fucking ridiculous. Yep. Let's put some work in and get some people out of here, please. It's not that hard. We just got to work together.
That's it.
That's it. So that's what we're here for. That's what we've been trying to do. I'm glad we got a platform to now tell people, stop acting like fucking scaredy cats.
Yeah.
Being hella weird and shit.
That's what it comes off as. People don't see it's ugly.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. And it just breeds more bad energy. You know what I mean? And that's like with the Mean Street shit, that was like, no, we're not doing that tonight. This is going to be a whole different energetic vibe in here. It's a hip hop show, sure, but we're not doing the whole hip hop vibe. I want it to be community. You know, I wanted people invested like they were. So yeah, man, that's it.
Hey, this community is thankful to have y'all. I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna speak for the community on that. Whether regardless of how they gonna say it, y'all are respected and appreciated for what y'all are doing.
I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate that.
That's a lot, dude. That does.
Absolutely.
It's been work. It's been work.
Hey, this is not going to stop anytime soon. So we're going to keep on doing what we do regardless. And hey, but knowing that it's appreciated and respected, it gives us more the motivation to keep pushing and keep progressing, not only for our sake, but for y'all. Because at the end of the day, music is to be shared by everybody. So you know what I mean? So hey, thank y'all, man. We're gonna keep it rocking. Don't worry, we're on your ass.
Yeah.
Like a dad mad with a fucking belt in his hand. We're on it.
That's it. Hey, thanks so much, fellas.
Hey, honor and privilege, brother. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Till the next time.
Till the next time.